Yeah.
VR chat here, they would have had to start paying per user because of how many people use it, and Unity's free. Now, the CEO that made this brain dead decision was
Mm-hmm.
the CEO that I think it was no EA, one
Yeah,
of
he
the
was the
CEOs from
same
EA.
one.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah, I heard about all that.
yeah. So that shit was funny, and then the whole internet raged, and he was like, "Oh, I'm the bad guy, aren't I?" Well,
He changed his mind?
yeah. He walked it all back because game developers were
Good.
literally just pulling and switching over to uh,
Yeah.
Unreal.
That's what I thought.
So
Yeah, I was like, we're just gonna lose yeah, Unity basically. But okay, that's good. Cause yeah, that's ridiculous. That makes no sense.
it
Yeah.
is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's recording now. There's
Yeah.
nobody here. But anyway, yeah. So this is President Weed, and he's not president yet, though, right? You're running, or are you currently president?
Well, depending on who you ask, no. In the future, it would be ideal to run for president just to kind of start talking some sense into people's heads. Because,
Mm.
like, okay, I do IT work, and I
Mm-hmm.
get to go all over the place. I work at rich people's places and rich businesses to tiny little farmers hooking up their telephones.
Mm.
And the last farmer I talked with, he said he liked RFK. So my first question was, what's a policy of his that makes you want to vote for him?
Yeah, really.
And he just looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. It was like I was speaking Babylonian or something to him. I was like,
He's
what's
not a
something that
liberal.
he has proposed? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
What
like,
do you mean?
and so I said, what's something he's going to do that's going to make your life better? He was just like, I don't know. I just think he's better than any other candidate because he's not establishment. He's not a Republican and he's
Mm.
not a Democrat. And I'm like, so what's he going to do that's going to make your life better? I actually don't know. I finally got him to spit it out that he doesn't know. So I'm like, okay, well, how about healthcare, right? That's a good policy.
Right.
Everyone needs healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
and the billionaire class can afford it.
Oh yeah.
Like, I got this cool graph. Here, let me pull it up.
Excellent. You came
Oh,
prepared.
I like graphs. Oh my god, I like graphs.
Graphs are
Bam.
good. Yeah.
I gotta bring this
Yeah. Take your time.
down there.
Oh yeah,
There
you've
we go.
posted that on Twitter before.
Like a million freaking times. I know,
Mhm.
but every goddamn day, the libertarians are
Yeah.
upset at capitalism, but they're too freaking stupid
Mhm.
To understand why. And if you are underneath, nope, come on. If you're underneath, wait, game, what are you? I think it's because I'm touching something. Anyway,
Like a wire or something.
no, it's like a
Are you wearing a suit?
barrier thing.
I mean, obviously you're wearing.
No,
a
no,
bead
no,
suit. Okay, yeah.
It's
camera. Yeah.
no, it's the controllers, the headset, and then I'm wearing Crocs that I've attached the VR trackers to.
Huh.
So I've got VR slippers and a waist tracker. So I
Wow.
can just move this over here and then bam. Now I got a screen set up here that you can't see because you're
Okay.
looking at
Yeah.
I could set up a whole bunch of virtual cameras and I could set up a whole bunch of different things. I've been working on this for a couple of years because VR. All right, back to this. I'll
Do you
get to
have-
that later.
d-
So this
yeah,
right here.
Yeah, yeah. Do what you were trying to do. Yeah. I'm gonna.
The
gonna
bottom
probably ask you
half
more about
of-
that. Keep going. Yeah. Bottom half.
The bottom half of the American people have less than 3% of the wealth, and everyone that makes over, what is it, anywhere between $100
half.
to $400,000 per year. Yeah, so if you make anywhere from like 100,000 to 400,000 per year, then you're above the 50%, and you're starting to get up to the 60, 70, and then once you're at 70 to 90, then you're in that, top 9%, and then the last 1% is
A
well,
third.
They're the
They have a
yeah
third.
they got, and that's only like 1,200 people really when you think about it. Okay, let's say 2,700 people. That was 2,700 people have all of that money, and we are fighting over the fucking scraps.
Yeah, we like half of people have less than 3% of all
Yeah,
of the
that-
wealth.
That's 180 million Americans have 2.45% of the wealth. So what are you supposed to do with that? Like there's no way
Nothing.
you can, bootstrap your way out of that. The only way you can get out of that is through sheer exploitation and nothing else.
That
So
that's why. And so you said about 100 grand is where you get to over 50%. Like,
roughly, depending on what part of the United States you're in,
Yeah. I guess.
generally 400 grand in a city.
Now, is this United States only, or is this global?
Yeah. Nope, this is from the Federal Reserve as of, 2022.
Okay. I wonder what the distribution is
So-
would be globally. I guess it's hard to tell because it's mostly
Oh,
1%.
it's damn near the same.
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
does come
I
out
feel like
damn near
it's
the same.
it's probably worse, honestly. Because
It actually is because 8 individuals control half of the world's wealth. 8 people.
8 people hold 50% of all of the money.
Every dime.
Is that? Wow, I can't even. I mean, I guess
So-
I knew that a little bit, but that's so wild to think about that 8 people have half of all money, and most people
So
have
what-
like nothing.
Exactly. And so when we need to talk about, fixing the debt, fixing the deficit, blah, 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 blah. Well, as we can see from this fun handy dandy graph, that's actually a few years old if you look down at the end.
Oh yeah, it stopped.
We give the rich tax breaks, and then we go into debt. And it doesn't make sense. Why?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God. Wow. What? would
So
we
that's
even-
why I'm of the firm stance that the billionaire class should not financially exist.
Yeah.
Ever.
No. I've been of the mind that, I mean, the number doesn't really matter, but yeah, no, the billionaire class shouldn't exist, provided, especially if there's homelessness. But I guess, yeah, no, billionaires just probably shouldn't exist at all.
I'm adjusting my windows you can't see right now for a better angle.
Hey, do whatever you got to do.
Oh.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what is your what's your plan? Like what do you have, like what are your
What am I
initial
gonna do
goals?
about it?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a recording, sweetie. My partner
Hi.
just got home.
Yeah, he's getting
So
interviewed.
what we're gonna do about it is we're gonna use the tools of capitalism to defeat capitalism. What tools has capitalism given us that are intrinsically socialist in nature, right? Let's think about this. Well, number one is social media. Most all social media is free, unless it's something like Patreon.
Yeah.
But even Patreon has free stuff.
Is that
Anyway,
social media?
we can use the
I didn't-
tools.
I guess it is. Yeah, because you can connect.
Yeah,
with people.
Patreon is a social media.
Yeah.
You actually, there's some apps that don't work unless you've got a Patreon account and you pay them per month, and then the app works. It's pretty cool. There's VR apps that do that. But anyway,
Interesting.
so we've got the power of social media, which is our ability to communicate at light speed. And with the powers of sharing and reposting and liking and commenting, this word and the message gets out. And what you can do is, if you're smart with your ability to create your own propaganda and have an audience and be able to speak eloquently as I'm trying to do as the cottonmouth rises, because I was ripping fat dabs while I was waiting for you to call.
That's fair. Yeah, I've been holding off recently, but yeah, I'm quite a fan.
You can't be President Weed if you're not always smoking, right?
Yeah,
So
right, that's
I gotta
the
smoke a
thing.
lot before I give an interview. You gotta stay ready to go.
Indeed.
So
Yeah.
what I believe we can do is we can play their game by their rules better than they can, with some time and some practice. Now, it's never going to work the first time, obviously, but second, third, fourth time, because even John Fetterman turned out to be Zionist, right? So
Yeah.
that's
that was
been
pretty
really
crazy.
yeah, that was really disappointing. So what I think what we should end up doing is changing an effect on my camera, like bam, there we go.
And
the
that'll
camera
fix
tracks.
everything. That's the goal?
No,
Yeah.
but you know,
It starts.
there. Now you can see.
The entire
then-
Oval Office.
Yeah, if my living room is big enough, I could just walk around this whole area, but I gotta walk around with the thumbstick. So now
Oh,
we
wow.
can do it this way.
Well, it makes you pounce. Like, is that a fox? Are you a fox or a dog?
No,
or
no,
a ferret?
honey badger.
Honey badger. Yes. All right.
Yes.
Good choice.
Yeah, actually, here, let me get the flag. Let me get the flag up.
If it was-
Because you know your ability to make your own propaganda and to sway people's minds is
tread with,
with
please.
you know, exactly. And so I thought, hey, I kind of personally I hate libertarians more than any other political group because
Yeah.
they're kind of too stupid to know that they're stupid. So this was
Mad
inspiration for the snake. Now the next part also, you know, stealing the yellow and the treading, you know, right?
Yeah. That's
where it gets
great,
worse
great
is-
thinking. The honey badgers eat snakes too, right? Yeah.
They not only eat snakes, but they fight lions for fun, and they're venom resistant. They are bee resistant.
That's
So
crazy.
when
Yeah.
you think about
they do
the-
not give a fuck, right?
when you think
That's
about the wrath of a exactly, when you think about the wrath of a generation, right? You've got millennials and Gen Z that are completely woken up to all the monstrosities that are going on. And I mean, did you see the DC march yesterday? Holy
No,
shit.
I missed that. I missed that. What was that?
Oh my god, dude. There was how many? There was 100,000 people marching. And like somebody had a time-lapse camera set up and it was just nonstop. And on Twitter this morning, all the right-wingers are just peeling their faces off like, what has America become?
What was it? What was it? In response to what was the? Was there a?
It was telling the United States to stop sending money and weapons to Israel and
Okay, good.
tell Israel to do a ceasefire.
Yeah.
So you had 100,000 people doing that shit, and it's all young people because they can't be bought or swayed anymore because we're too smart.
Yeah. I mean, fuck.
And actually, there's a reason why we're smart because I got another graph.
Oh.
Give me a second,
Great, please.
dude, I love graphs.
I'm
Now,
so sorry.
going
this
back
took
to
so long
social media.
do. Yeah, I'm glad that you.
Oh
were
no,
very
no, no,
prepared.
no, it's fine. Dude, I got stuff that happens in my life too. It's no sweat. So this right here is a lead of graph or a graph of lead in the
Oh,
blood
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make this big, and I'm gonna try to stand
off to the side by adjusting my camera real quick with the pop. And I'll step over here. Yeah, there I am.
There you are.
TV,
Wow.
yay.
It's, oh, man.
Now, if we go this way, if we point this way, we can see the exact point. If you look at the years and line up the ages, anyone born between 1959 and 1981 is disproportionately affected by lead in their blood and their bones, especially when they were babies. Now, what happens when you're a baby and you're sucking in tetraethyl lead fumes because we don't have catalytic converters and we're putting that in the fuel, is the lead makes your brain kind of go dumb and you have like no empathy and you're like quick to anger. So I don't have the graph ready, but if you overlay the years of serial killers and why they've gone away, the graph lines up perfectly. Like it's exactly the
That's
same.
wild.
Now,
I mean,
now the next thing is
it's probably a number of
Alzheimer's.
things too. Alzheimer's as well.
no Alzheimer's. Exactly. Think about it. All
Yeah.
of the adults during that time frame, all of the people that were, given
Sucking up
birth in
blood.
that time frame, right? They were sucking that in as adults, and it ate holes into their brain, and they died, right?
God, that's terrifying.
So we're still dealing with the after effects, and my personal theory, and I might die on this hill, is things like autism are affected by the parents that were
The
poisoned
parents.
as children, and then they give birth, and then we don't have lead in our blood, but we still have damage, Not just the psychological damage from old abuse we got as children by being autistic kids with lead-brained adults. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I went through.
Is it? I feel like there's got to be a number of issues, especially when it comes to autism, and I guess I would wait for the studies on that. But I do think that there's definitely got to be a lot of correlations.
A little bit of correlation.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Just a
of-
little bit.
Yeah. I don't know anything really about that, so I can't say. But I do.
Hey, people are allowed to speculate.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. I guess. I would. My first thought would just be that I feel like if that were the case, wouldn't autism have been a lot more common? I guess it's. I mean, I know it's always been around, but I guess it's hard to say
Yeah.
because we have no real way of testing for it. until
Well,
recently.
I believe a lot of autistic traits they seem, and it's not perfect, but it does seem to trace back to Dutch bloodline. And
Huh.
if you think about it for a second, right? How much do you know about the Dutch culture?
A little bit. I'm not. Yeah, but please go on.
They grow flowers in colored arrangements and organized finely, and they wear wooden shoes. Are you telling
Yeah.
me that they as a culture aren't autistic already?
Yeah, well, they've already got. I mean, a lot of the Nordic Scandinavian countries too have a lot of interesting stuff. I do know about the
mean-
flowers. Is wooden shoes an autistic thing? I didn't know that.
I mean, what other culture on earth wears wooden shoes? Wooden sandals? Yes, but wooden shoes.
Yeah.
Who else on earth does that?
I
Nobody.
guess nobody. I don't know. Maybe somewhere. I'm not sure. I can't think of.
I'm just
Yeah.
submitting this evidence to the court of public opinion.
That's an interesting piece of evidence. I would have thought that maybe, I don't know. I would think autism would be kind of averse to wooden shoes because they'd be kind of uncomfortable. But I'm not sure if maybe it's a reverse kind of a thing. Because I know that it's a very big sensory thing is very important. Oh, there you go. Nice. That's cool. You got a microphone. Oh, I thought you were dropping it. Oh, I see. You're able to. pick
There's a
it
little
up.
stand for it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I got this other cool trick where I can pull my cigar out of my mouth and put it back in, pull it out, and then if I want to do a real magic trick, I can do this. Hold on.
Oh wow, you got
This.
Oh my gosh.
And
you
then
got some-
I made a
wow.
big one. Well, because
Yeah.
when you're in the virtual world, there's
Do
big
anything.
avatars sometimes that'll be like 60 feet tall. So I got to give them
gotta
something that's
share them.
appropriately sized.
That's funny. Here, I have a vape. You can give me a hit. Hold on.
All right, here we can go together.
Yeah.
I like to make fun stuff in Unity because you can just go completely crazy. Like if I want to use a weapon that is non-damaging, I use my
About
mushroom
mushroom
maul.
helmet.
So all it does is psychological damage, zero physical damage. So
sounds
if you got any
bonkers.
traumas,
Yeah.
you better get ready.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah. Do you make videos or anything?
I do from time to time when the comedy spark hits my head, but
I feel like
man,
I gotta
when
subscribe. You seem
it's
great.
it's hard to make content sometimes when you have to deal with algorithm suppression, when you've got a content moderator that just hates your fucking guts, so your content goes nowhere.
Why,
And some
what,
people are just,
What about your content? Is...
oh, TikTok.
Oh, I see. So you make TikToks?
Yeah.
And TikTok is anti.
Oh, I make content. Well, yeah, they're super anti-weed, so you have to really self-censor. And what I try to do is post my same content across the entire internet if I can, and then some niche items I'll apply to certain websites where I can. but-
YouTube Shorts is pretty like it's like artificially
Yeah.
like I don't know what the opposite of suppressed is, but like inflated.
No, I've
isn't it?
seen my content. No, I've seen my content on YouTube Shorts recommended, like more than a few times. So
Wait,
it's
other
just
people have
audiences
uploaded
can
it?
be critical.
Or you
Well, it's
as your
it's
own?
like in my own feed.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
which
okay.
is really weird to see my own content in my own feed because before YouTube Shorts, you would never see something like that,
No,
and then
yeah,
now you
that's
do.
strange.
So
Yeah. I think that you could probably make a lot of good stuff just by there's a lot of I've seen a lot of videos of people just talking to other people in VR chat, and so
yeah, VR chat's a great medium because you can do silly stuff like that. So
yeah,
this, hold on,
quite a
I gotta do
nice weapon.
this.
Oh, it's got actual.
So-
That's a big bullet.
Well, it's not a bullet. It's
Oh, it's a pill.
pill. Yeah, yeah. So it's a.
Is that for
I
the
accidentally
ones that are
grabbed the
tough to
camera. Now
swallow?
you got a gun camera.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. So the theory with this is, it's fentanyl.
Oh no!
So it's a
you're gonna
painless
kill people
gun.
instantly. Painless.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's suppressed, and if you get hit with fentanyl, it's like, oh, you know.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
it's not like and then bleeding out slowly. Like that's horrific. So this is a merciful killing tool,
Yeah.
right? Just night. Now, I kind of have a bipolar effect with a lot of the stuff I craft. So if we try to think of the most painless gun to die with, what about the most painful? So I came up
Oh shit!
with the Walther Loudener. So that way, when you get shot by this, you have a bullet wound and tinnitus.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, just did it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's
That's
funny.
absolutely foul.
Yeah. That,
Now,
oh,
the
just a
grenades
gun
from
violence.
earlier have a melee version. It's a
Yeah,
sniper hammer.
melee, a melee grenade. There you go.
God.
That's good. Do you have a silencer for your hammer as well? A suppressor?
Nope.
Oh, you, gotta
You
get one
can't
of those.
really silence a hammer because,
you
the
can
best thing
silence
you
a
could do to a
grenade.
hammer is make it. You can silence a grenade, but you can't silence a hammer. It
Is
makes
there a
sense.
joke
Trust
reason
me.
for that? Okay. Oh, there you go.
Well, this is one of my favorite inventions. This is a rocket-propelled chainsaw.
Yeah,
and
it
this
is.
is-
And it's got a jet or like an actual
F1 motor.
rocket launcher engine. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it's the F1 motor from the Saturn V,
Yeah.
like the one that put astronauts on the moon.
Oh my god.
I just made it really tiny.
Yeah.
And then
well,
this saw is from The Evil Dead. This is Ash's
Oh,
saw.
the Evil Dead saw.
So-
There you go. Can you launch it?
Yeah.
Or is it just a?
I have to program in an animation to do that, and that's really freaking hard. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of stupid. I just come up with good ideas.
Well,
So-
you're certainly very clever. I'll give you that. I gotta get in on this too because I like stuff like that. Your flag has been on screen the whole time. By the way, I'm not sure if you're.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
That's branding.
Yes, good call. You should put your if you have your what are they called?
I have this
links or
flag
anything.
fully printed out. Yeah. I've
should
got a
put
link
those
tree
on.
that has all my stuff.
Yeah, you should just put that
So,
on screen.
let's see. Oh man, that is actually one thing I don't have ready.
Ah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold
Well,
on, let me see.
We got time if you want to just.
Yeah, add
mess
new
around.
one. I gotta find it real quick is the problem.
I would be
Let's see.
interested in doing this again in VR chat because I have the game, but I have
Oh, hey, there it
no.
is.
I have no. Oh, that's a good idea. You should probably, if you have a link of some kind, though, that would work too for the people on their
There it
phone.
is.
But that's great for people on their computer.
Yeah,
Can you
and
just
they
make
can
like
scan
a
it with
quick
their
like
phone.
text thing? For what about if someone's watching on their phone? Do you have like a type thing? I can put it in the description.
I have. Well, the cool thing I've done is I've made my name the same across the entire internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Elion113 everywhere. That's how
113.
easiest way. Yep,
Let's see if I
easiest
can-
way to find me. Yep.
Add text. All right. So yeah. All right. Let's see. So test. All right. Text is ELYON113.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, I do the same thing with. I try to get. Unfortunately, Smiley P is surprisingly. Like it's taken in a lot of places for some reason, which is annoying.
Yeah, which is kind of why I decided to stick with
Numbers.
Elion113 for my personal branding.
Yeah. All right. So you can't see it, but I put it.
On your recording.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let me actually. No, I don't want to rename it. I want to change it to @ so that people know. Let's. Can I do that, or do I have to just? I really can't. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
All right. Let's see. So.
There it is.
Alright.
Gotta look at the camera.
Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah, it's all there.
YouTube, etc. Okay.
So, what I was saying earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the way we change things, what we need to do is get as many people with loud and prominent and
my
eloquent voices that are extremely far left
Mm-hmm.
from social media who are able to toe the line on the 6 policies I have set forth. Those policies being number 1, healthcare. Number 2, end the failed war on drugs. Give people therapy. Number 3,
That's awesome.
bullet trains.
Yeah,
Number 4?
actually, yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
Number 4 is ending insider trading in Congress. Make that shit illegal, life in prison. Number 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Number 5, a technology bill of rights to rein in AI and what companies are able to do with fucking us consumers over by putting a
I'm already
subscription behind everything. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, under capitalism, you'll own nothing and be happy. And at number 6, forgive all of the student loan debt because the Supreme Court said we could this summer. They said, Joe, you don't get to forgive part of it. It's all or nothing. And they know Joe will never do that, and they know nobody else will do that. But
They
what if
said
an
that?
autistic, weed-suited...
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that this summer. I pay attention really close to what's as best as I can. I mean, I still got to survive capitalism, so I can't
Yeah.
focus. That's the hard part. So what I need is a dedicated team to start with of 3 people. And then after that, I need a core team of about 12 to 15, and we can actually go full force with a campaign in the next 365 days to take as many votes away from Joe, from Trump, from RFK, from Vivek is running under Republic. So fuck Vivek Ramaswamy,
Yeah.
by the way, that greasy little shit.
But I'm pretty sure it's just going to be
Cornell
2
West.
people. Yeah, well, Cornell West, I believe, withdrew, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, man. That was so disappointing. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna run
Yeah.
under this party and then that party." Like
Yeah,
Andrew Yang still doesn't have a policy. Andrew Yang. I made a video a year ago where Jake Tapper roasted him on CNN, asking him for one single policy, and all Andrew Yang could do was say, "The Forward Party is about bringing the American people together because they want a third party." Okay, what's a policy that's gonna help them? The people want a third party.
Common sense. It's about common sense. Yeah, like what? Like common sense, bro. Are you listening? Yeah. Yeah. No.
I made a great video on that.
I'll have to check that out.
It's
Yes.
it's really old. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, by all means. We could even watch it together if you want. So I actually have been thinking about something very similar. With so my basic ideas are food, housing, healthcare, education, and transportation. Those are the 5 universal human rights that everybody should have.
Big ones. Yeah.
And the great thing about them is that not only are they human rights that we should provide everyone and that we can provide everyone, and that you've definitely demonstrated with the fact that there's more than enough wealth in the world to do so, and in the U.S. alone, they pay for themselves, which is like they pay for themselves exponentially so as well too, because when you get
Healthcare alone pays for itself.
yeah, and it's like even if they didn't, we should still do it anyway because that's what taxes are for. I mean, like the military makes a lot of money, but I don't think it pays for itself. Like we wouldn't be in debt if taxes all paid for themselves. Like there wouldn't be a deficit. But these
Well,
things.
the big thing with the military is, okay, we tied our dollar to the cost of oil, right? That's why it's the U.S. petrodollar. The reason why we did that is because, oh, damn it. Sorry, I'm having camera control issues. The reason why we did that is because the military consumes that much oil every single freaking day. It is insane. And the reason why every person gives the military more money every year is because at the end of the year, they dump as many munitions as they can and try to get more budget every single year. So it's absolutely insane. It's a never-ending cycle. Now, here's where the problem comes in, is we dumped the gold for the oil because our military just needed to consume that much of it. So if we tied our economy to the size of our military, then allegedly it would make us an empire that would never be able to be... Oh, shit. did work, but only part way.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we stopped taxing the rich to pay for it, which I got that.
Graph over here. That's the debt graph. Bam. So on this graph, you can see that, you know,
The millisecond we stop taxing the rich, then the debt goes up.
Yeah.
As soon as you
basically
like, it's
inverts
so simple.
almost. Yeah. Wow.
like we had no debt because we weren't allowed to go into debt, and then they changed that. So before
We're
Damn it.
basically at the same levels as the 1920s, and that was the fucking
Yeah, and that's why the whole economy crashed.
Yeah.
And that's why we've gone after recession after recession after recession after recession every couple of years because of what they did with the tax breaks. So, you know, I forgot something. So my cigar, my comic one, will trigger the AI on TikTok and suspend the video. It's
Really?
happened so many freaking times.
Oh my
Dude, it's
God.
so freaking annoying.
They
So-
they don't allow smoking of any kind, or is it just
Nope.
weed?
And it's really weird. So they're okay with cigarettes and cigars, but they'll put a flagging on it. But if they could tell that it's weed, they'll just destroy the video entirely. And what's weird is that video I like to post where I'm walking up to the camera and, you know, shelter, food, and medicine or human rights.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That video it got taken down the first time, and I just immediately re-uploaded it the second time, and it stayed up.
Oh, well, there you go.
So what the fuck?
That's nice.
Yeah,
At least you tried it again.
Yeah, but still, fuck you, TikTok.
Yeah, is it
Stop making
'cause
my life difficult.
they're Chinese? And like
Heck,
it's
yeah,
illegal
but-
in there?
the content moderation teams, one of them is in Kentucky, so that's where you have a lot of content moderation problems on TikTok, is because it's all
Kentucky.
I mean,
They're
Kentucky.
They're not
the ones
as
moderating.
bad as some places, right? Or I don't know.
It's pretty bad.
Okay.
No, Kentucky's bad. Yeah, there's
thinking something
no
else.
in Kentucky. Like when you're going through either Kentucky or Tennessee, there's a giant Confederate flag that's like 200 feet tall and like 300 feet wide, and it's just as you're going through the
Oh.
valley, it's just like, oh shit. So
Great.
yeah, they have a mindset down there, and it's not good.
Is weed legal where you're stationed?
Yeah, I'm in Michigan.
Okay, and it's
Yep.
legal there? Yeah, it's
So-
legal a lot of places.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I've gotten so popular recently and around Michigan, is because of the whole outfit with the cape and the hat and the giant vape and everything. And people take a lot of photos with me, which
That's
I'm always
cool.
down to do. And
That's great.
you know, if somebody is like really digging the vibe, I've got little flyers I'll give them with having my QR code on them and my own little propaganda poster on it. And
Yeah.
because the honey badger is my mascot. Because Democrats get a donkey, Republicans get an elephant,
you
the
get a honey
Libertarians
badger.
have a porcupine, and I'm a goddamn honey badger
Yeah.
because
Well, I
it's
thought
all pure fuck you energy.
The libertarians are a snake, though. I thought. Well, I guess that's just the don't.
That's
tread
just
on me, huh?
propaganda.
Okay.
Yeah, technically they're.
Oh, you're right. It is a
porcupines.
porcupine. I've seen it before. Now that you mention
Yep.
it. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
So I said, fuck it, honey badger. Now,
Mm-hmm.
here's the cool thing. The name of the party, #FYP, it stands for fuck you party, because fuck you, we've all had enough. We're all fucking tired. Just fuck off already.
And then,
Like-
and then it's #FYP, like for your page or something.
And it's also
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
no, that's exactly how it works. You figured it out. FYP
Yeah.
2024.
There you go. That's funny.
Now here's where it gets even better though.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a First Amendment challenge.
Mm.
Can you make a political party a curse word? Fuck
That's
you.
a good idea.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you should.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
stir the pot. Stir the pot.
I'm with you on board in basically everything. My only concern is that I feel like you would probably have more luck if you were local. I mean you could run.
I know.
You could run.
I've really thought about that.
But
Like,
well, what about?
what the point is
Yeah,
though.
go ahead.
It's not the point of doing all of this silliness is to kind of be a far left Trump, to just be able to say fuck you without being afraid, because I'm completely disowned from my family because they're all right-wing religious
Oh, I'm so
psychos.
sorry.
So
Jeez.
nah, it's all right. I'm getting over it. But the goal, though, we've got how many seats in the House and Senate together go?
It's like 200 something.
No, House
combine?
and Senate together. Yep.
Oh, I guess it would be 300 or almost 400. Is more? Oh my God, 500.
It's like 532 or 528.
Oh my
I
God.
can't remember exactly. I think it's 528 in the total in all of Congress, right? So, with how fucked up the system currently is, with all their little games that they've made, with how evenly everything is divided, how many seats would the fuck you party need to hold combined in the House and Senate in order to fuck up their game royally so they can never pass another budget again? How many seats do you think we would need?
Let's see if is it is there like a specific number? Is it like a percentage thing?
Roughly 15 seats
Really? That's it?
out of 500. You hold 15, you break their game, because that's how evenly the House and Senate are divided. They're divided by a total of 5 seats total.
Yeah.
1 in the Senate, 4 in the House. So if you have 15, fuck your budget.
Yeah, I guess so.
No more money for war. You've got war at home.
There you go. Yeah. Wouldn't that, there you go. Wouldn't that require local office though? If you're doing Congress and stuff?
No, mostly you would need just local Congress, local, rep seats. So Michigan has got 2 senators and I think like 13 reps total. I think Michigan's got like 13 districts. So the goal is to use the power of social media and the power of propaganda and campaigning to get people to sign up for House and Senate seats. The only reason we get people like Lauren Boebert and Margarine Turpentine Greens is because they ran in an unchallenged district. They had no fucking opponent. All they had to do was fill in the fucking paperwork, and they won. Why aren't we doing something like that?
That's what
and
I'm
it makes
saying.
me so
Yeah.
fucking angry, because we need someone to completely step up and be able to challenge in the debates, especially with all the fucking knuckle dragging Neanderthals that have brains full of lead, where they argue circles. And I've gotten a master of this because doing IT contracting, I have to work with construction dudes all the fucking time. And they're always complaining about capitalism. So what I've mastered the art of Jedi mind trickery is making my opinion come out of their mouth by just asking them questions about the things that they are upset about. And when I can make all those questions be, well, a billionaire did that. A billionaire fucked that up. A billionaire controls the price of that. A politician doesn't control that. A billionaire does. And then half the time, man, they wake up and they're like, oh shit, capitalism's a rigged system. And then the other half of the time is, nope. I need my billionaires. We need billionaires.
Yeah.
We can't go without billionaires. And so those guys are the lost causes. But
I
feel like
You might have better
back
luck
to numbers.
with the term billionaire elites. If you just add the word elites, I think they've been trained to
True.
Not like that word. So that actually might give you better
You're
luck.
you're very correct.
Yeah.
So check this out. How many votes did Joe Biden receive in order to win 2020? How many did he have?
Total votes or like
Total votes.
Like actual votes or electoral college votes?
Yeah. No, total votes, just pure people votes.
Oh God, it was millions or 1 million.
81 million.
81 million. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yep. So, how many votes did Trump get?
Like 80 million. It was very close,
Nope.
right?
73.
73. Oh my.
That's all he got.
Wow, I thought it was closer than that.
Let's
still
keep
pretty
going.
close, though.
How many people do you think didn't vote?
Ooh, 60 million. Higher, 70 million?
Higher.
80?
Yeah. 80 million
Wow.
people didn't vote.
So we could have
So,
doubled.
If we take 1/5 of the Democrat vote, or no, we'll take 1/4, right? We'll take 25% of 80 million, right? Because you know how many people have the actual fucking gun to their head, vote blue no matter who, right? Those are the ones that, do it. So you take 25 million votes away from Joe. You take 20 million votes away from Trump. And then you gain 20 million votes of the people that didn't vote, either through suppression or just straight up saying fuck you, which around Michigan, more people said fuck you than actually voted, and surprisingly.
There you go.
So take those, you mix that whole three pile together. Now you've got 65 million votes, which now outnumbers Biden, now outnumbers Trump, and you've won. Now, the only way that actually works into effective power, though, is to hold House and Senate seats. And I'm just some dickhead from Michigan. I have no power. I've got no money. I'm behind on my bills. I am sad and depressed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. You got the, what's the word? Anyway, go on.
So we have the power of our voices.
Relatability, that's the word.
Yeah, relatable, exactly.
Yeah.
And I have a number of people lined up and ready to go. The only thing I'm missing right now is a campaign lawyer, somebody that can do the paperwork and say, yes, you're allowed to do that. No, you're not allowed to do that. Right?
I don't know anybody like that, but have you heard of there's a thing called Run for Something, which is like a group that's literally that. Have you worked with them at all? Have you talked to them?
Not yet. I've got that tab open up on my computer right now because somebody just brought them up the other day.
Okay,
So
yeah, because
I've
I
been-
heard about them as well. I wanted to do that for local office in the future. I need to get a friggin' job first. I'm trying to be an electrician, but this isn't.
I'm actually a low volt electrician, so I have no certifications, no paperwork, no really nothing.
How'd you get
It's
into
really
it?
a Wild West field.
Did you need an apprenticeship?
No, I just kind of learned as I went and used the two brain cells I've got and rub them together really hard.
How did you get into it? Did you just apply, or did you see it?
Well, it started out years ago when I went out west when the economy collapsed and went to the oil fields, and I found a shop or a place called Ebel Integrators, and they did low voltage, they did high voltage, they did security systems, they did fire systems, and other
Wow.
stuff. So I went in and applied, and I started working on telephones, and they trained me on how old telephone systems work and how data cables work. And now because of YouTube, you can, and TikTok especially, you can learn all this shit in just a few hours. So there's platforms now where they freelance IT technicians just like Uber, and so I'll get calls all the time for work, like, hey, because I'm one of 4 technicians in all the state of Michigan.
Well, geez,
All the other
there you go.
technicians, they all went and found regular jobs. So people were blowing up my phone today trying to get me to go on site down in Jackson, 45 minutes away. I was like, nope, fuck you. I'm chilling today. So on a Sunday.
That's crazy.
But I got it can be really big sometimes. Like last week I did a site survey, just taking photos and measurements and shit for a new drive-through system, and they paid me $200 for 1 hour of my time. I was like, yo, why did you bid so high for this? He's like, well, we can't get technicians to pick up jobs anymore, so we set it high enough for somebody to pick it up. I was like,
wow, there you go. Supply and demand.
there it is.
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's
oh my
wild.
god, we had a good chuckle about it too. I made sure he got good photos and measurement too, so he was
Well,
really happy.
You seem like a good guy. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah,
I try to work hard.
I actually am pretty on board with basically everything you're saying. I've wanted to turn my my channel into a sort of a mutual aid thing. I'm not really making a lot of videos. I'm more focused on trying to find a day job at the moment. But yeah, that sounds
So here,
great.
do this.
Yeah,
You ready?
I'm listening.
All right. Go to ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
and ask it to help you make a resume,
I did this.
and then
yeah.
tell it about your work experience.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
you did?
Yeah, I've done
Yes.
this. Yeah. It actually
All
is
right.
super helpful. I actually had it come up with some questions to ask you, but they weren't super great. So I haven't used any of them. I'll look at it if there comes to be a lull in the conversation. But it's funny that you brought that up because that is exactly what I did. I literally did that. I was like, I went to school, and it's this tech school called Porter and Chester, and they used to be really good, but they've, I guess, gone like really, like they said that they used to have a career services person for every like tech job. Like they teach all kinds of things. They teach plumbing, electricity, both high and low voltage, as well as like CAD, like AutoCAD, like 3D modeling and stuff like that, and all
Yeah.
kinds of cool stuff like that, and nursing and dental and stuff like that. Really great stuff. But
Damn.
the problem is they only, I guess, like some new guy owns it now or something, and they've gone from a career services person who helps you with your resume for each field to now 2 people total that you have to make your own resume, and then they tell you if it's good or not and like give you tips, I guess. And that
Wow.
I've never even met this person. Like, she was supposed to come in during school and she just never did. Like, she was supposed to come into class. We had it all set up for one day, and then she was like, all right, we'll do it next week. And then we graduated, and she never even came in. It was really...
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it was $30K. It was $30,000. I took out loans that I have to pay off in like 6 months, probably like 5 now.
Did you which course did you finish?
It was the electrical apprenticeship program. So I have like, I know how to do some things, but I don't. And they gave you tools, which is good. But
all electrician work is done through unions. You got to start looking at union hall.
well, that's what I did. I went to the unions, and they said that they're not looking for anybody right. Well, rather they just didn't hire me. I don't know if they hired anybody. It depends on how many people they need. And unfortunately, during the winter, work is less available, so it's just a bad time. It's just a whole bunch of crappy shit going on. But yeah, so
have you put your resume on Indeed at all?
I haven't actually put my the one that ChatGPT helped me with. I gotta upload it to that. That shouldn't take more than a minute too, so I should have done that. But yeah, no, I've sent it to a place. I probably should send it to more than one. It's funny because the power went out in my house this morning because I guess some squirrel or something chewed the line, and it was so crazy because I was watching TV, and I just heard a pop out my window, and then everything shut off. It was really wild.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was funny. The guy came and I talked to the guy, and he said that, oh yeah, there's all kinds of positions available in the electric company. I was like, cool. So I went online, and they only had corporate jobs, and so I was like, well, that's not very helpful. But I'll look more into it, and I was thinking of maybe trying to just call the local place and then just seeing if they'll take my resume. But anyway, this is all just whatever. Oops. Yeah. So what I wanted to say was that I'm really on board with everything that you're trying to do. The only thing is that and I'd like to work with you too if possible. I would be happy to help you out. Maybe do some more conversations at the very least. The only thing is that I'm just a little worried about anybody taking votes away from the Democrats this time, just because.
I'm not worried.
You think he's gonna win no matter what, or you're just
yes, number one, and
Yeah.
number two. The whole point is to make them pay.
yeah.
All we want is fucking healthcare, and if you can't even give us that,
It's
then you
pretty
deserve
ridiculous.
to lose everything.
Yeah.
No, Hillary did that same shit. And I'm fucking sick of having the gun pointed to my head. Vote blue no matter who is fascism with extra steps. And how dare anyone fucking tell me that we can't do it better ourselves. And if we lose the first time, which we're going to no matter what, I don't give a shit,
Yeah.
then great. That's how you learn, is through failure. You're not supposed to win the first fucking time.
I'm with you there. My only problem is that the Republicans are fascism without the extra steps. So it's just like,
Yeah,
you know,
but
it's like
you got to remember,
I would much
you got
rather.
to remember, it's all a numbers game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm pretty sure he's gonna win. This whole fucking Israel-Palestine thing is really annoying, but it's like I still think he's pretty much destined to win. But I'm still just like, I just want him. I don't care about him. I should say. I just want the Republicans to lose continually. I kind of hope that Trump keeps running and keeps losing, so that they just keep running him over and over again, and he keeps, just all because like when it's like this is my thought. I had a friend trying to convince me of a similar thing, kind of anti-electoralist thing. So kind of what you're saying, but from a different point of view. which is just to not vote at all, which is like I think is kind of stupid too. Again, I'm not. Again, I'm an anarchist. I'm not all.
That's what a lot. That's what a lot of them do, though. Is especially here around Michigan, a lot of them just withhold their vote and say, "Fuck you, I'm not going to participate in your system." So we need to give them somebody to vote for.
That actually reminds me. I was gonna say, if you are in the fuck you party, if you get people to just write you in, that would actually be really funny. They could just write "fuck you" on the ballot, and you could get them to. Do
There
that.
you go.
That would actually be really great.
That's-
If you could make that work.
You're getting it.
Yeah, that would be. That would be.
You're
excellent.
getting it now.
Yeah, I would actually. I would love that. That would be great. I hope you get a lawyer and you can find out if you can make that work. I'm sure you could get at least a couple of people to do that. I'm sure that the tons of people would want to do that. Yeah.
Oh, I've got so much merch already ready to go, and I've had some tell me I want your stuff. I want to buy your flag. I want to buy your stickers, but legally I really can't until I have a lawyer to do the paperwork with the federal. Because if any money I receive for stuff isn't for campaign purposes, and I spend it personally, even $1, it's jail,
illegal.
straight to jail.
Yeah, which is good.
So in
Yeah.
the meantime, getting art set up and ready to go, because it's all about propaganda, getting practiced with my speaking and getting my personal image out there. And from there, hopefully a lawyer will fall into line and we'll be able to move forward. I already have an accountant. So the last thing I need is somebody to be kind of a campaign manager / assistant to help me with organization and appointments and like, hey, this person's doing this person's doing this person's doing this, yada yada yada. Because the goal is to have 60 people from my age group run in all 50 states, and holding 15 seats is all you need. And so
that would be that's
the
great.
goal.
What if you did this whole thing, and since you're gonna lose, what if you did that to get publicity?
The conversation going.
Yeah, and then went local, because then you might have better chance of winning that way. Because
That's also part of something I've been thinking about. But as you can see with what I'm doing here, I'm ready to give interviews to anyone, anywhere, anytime, in any medium.
Yeah.
Just give me 5 minutes to get set up and strapped up and all my programs loaded up. And I can even do more fun stuff when I'm doing gaming too. So
yeah, I think that's really important. I'm with you on the social media thing, because that's what I was saying. I wanted to grab like I wanted to make like a mutual aid network of people like promoting other people and just getting more political online content creators going, just to make it more popular, because then when you do that, more people do get involved, and then it's much easier to get 15 people to run and then win, to get 100 people to run and 15 people to win something.
How much TikTok have you used?
I have not used it in a while, but I do have one.
Okay.
Is
So
that a great
using
way? You can build
Well,
up stuff
there's the
pretty quick.
TikTok Live, right? Where you can like debate people. And what's really cool is for my PC now, I can host a live session that is up to 5 people, including me, 5 people.
Oh,
so,
really?
We could actually and host it on TikTok. And all from my PC, doing the
would love to
VR
do that.
and everything.
Yeah, that would be great, because
So-
I feel like I'm pretty good with debates and stuff. I think that I'm pretty I'm with you. I'm pretty much like I know what I've learned. I'm always learning, and I'm pretty good at backing my stuff up, but I try to listen, and make sure stuff's good.
Honestly, though, watching TikTok live debates has been really informative. Like,
Yeah,
all right, so
watching other
here's
debates is great.
one that I was in one the other day. But it was there was a lot of black people of color voices involved, and so we were talking about deconstruction of like your of the racism that you're kind of like born with.
Yeah.
And
Internalized.
he was talking about a lot of this. Yeah, well, not just internalized racism, but it's like racism that you don't know about. Now, here's one thing that he was talking about during the Jim Crow era. black people were forced to walk in the street if they were on coming up to a white person. So, and if they didn't, they could actually be just thrown in jail and have their ass beat for it. It was like laws in a lot of places,
Wow.
which is why we needed to have civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
So on my security cameras on my house, because I install security systems, so I've got my own, I see a lot of people of color walking in the street out the front of my house and not using the sidewalk. And it always confused me. And I'm sitting there on the live learning about this, and I'm like, oh my fucking
Wow.
God. You just deconstructed me live right here.
Yeah.
And, you know,
That's scary.
that was
That's
a surreal experience, man.
Yeah,
like
that
that was
is-
just like 5 days ago.
Yeah, because I mean, there's the stereotype of people crossing to the other side of the street when they see a black person. It's wild because you know you talk about propaganda, and I'm trying to think of like another word for that because I find that word switching, like adding elites to billionaires, can actually be surprisingly helpful, and stuff like that. But I mean, it is great because it just means like informative media or like persuasive like information. I think is the word.
Persuasive. Well, it's manipulation. That's what propaganda is. It's manipulation. Like, you know, Ben Shapiro's propaganda is dead babies.
Yeah,
And that's all he's got.
Yeah,
So
or anti-Semitism, or you know, picture for a second this, you know, blah blah blah. Yeah, his style of propaganda. I just feel like it's getting better, and I think it's important to use that word in order to bring it up. But you might want to have a different one in your back pocket just for people who just don't like that word yet. But it is also good to say it, to make it more normalized, in other words, because then because I had that, there was a whole, you know, with the whole Gamergate thing, like feminism became like a problem, and so saying feminist became a problem. But nowadays anyone can like say it and it's not a big deal. So it's like it's important to normalize everything. You've got a ball in the air. Is that
yeah, it's a tracker because I'm working on my menu here, so it's
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
thought
show
maybe
me.
that was a behind the scenes.
that's yeah.
Yeah, I see your
this is actually
controllers,
where
too.
my stomach is in real life.
Ah, I see.
So
Just
I
stand
can track
forward
my
like that. You
fingers.
can't tell. Yeah, that's really interesting. So it can tell that based on like sensors.
it can
Or-
even tell. Yeah, it can even tell how hard I'm squeezing too.
That's crazy. Can it tell? Is it like a? Is it binary though? Is it like on off, or can it tell where your finger is in all orientation? It's on off.
No.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's how does it do that? Is there a camera? A heat sensor?
No. There's a little line. You see that line right there?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
On the palm.
Mm-hmm.
See that? That's how it can tell where all my fingers are. And then the trigger here, it's got a sensor that wraps all the way around on the primary trigger there. And then even on the thumb, when you press
That
it
one's
on different
binary.
parts of, no, it goes to different areas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it looks like
here,
your thumb is
here,
like
here.
blinking like to the top though. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that one doesn't have any. But
that's
when you
cool
put
how
it
you
in
can-
the center,
Mm-hmm.
when you put the thumb in the center, it can tell how hard you're pressing in the center.
That
So-
is pretty cool that they have pressure sensors. But that's really interesting that it can tell, like, it's not just like this or anything, or even like, you know, different fingers, but it's like you can see it at like in like almost closed, like not quite, like halfway. That's really impressive. Is that your T pose? The meditation thing? Because he kind of
Oh yeah. When it's
yeah,
actually here, I gotta take this
and he floats too.
put that back there.
That's actually
Yeah.
hilarious. That's actually that's great. I like that idea that he's doing that while he's waiting.
Well, a lot of people make their own AFK poses,
Mm-hmm.
so you can do funny stuff. And you can do like real cool special effects and whatnot. So when I go back, because reconstructing, like going into editing your avatar is such a huge pain in the butt, because there's two versions you have to work with. You have to have your Quest version and your PC version, because everything in VR now runs off of OpenXR, which is
Sounds
a open source, free system that all virtual reality communicates on nowadays. And before OpenXR,
That's great.
getting Quest, you know, the Oculus Quest devices and regular PC VR to work was a nightmare. You had to run tons of custom software and stuff like that. So what ended up happening was the VR developers and the rest of, like tech developers got together and worked on a project called OpenXR, which will allow in a very short time, with the next big update that they're working on next year, you'll be able to it already works now on the Quest, where there's no controllers. It tracks your hands, and then when you reach out and touch stuff, just like in the movies, or just like in Tony Stark, if I have to
So you
hook
don't
up
need
my Quest,
controllers?
and no, you don't need controllers. Yeah, I can link it all up to my PC, and then you can just reach out and touch stuff. I
Yeah.
just like using these because it works natively. So,
Yeah, it seems pretty cool. I mean,
Um,
yeah, with AI and everything, it seems like it's only not that far off. And it's really annoying that capitalism is really getting in the way of this, because this could be so much better if it wasn't for capitalism. I mean, fucking Facebook just nosedive so hard trying to create VR chat, even though it's already there and free, and it's
Well,
way
yeah, we
better.
already have free art chat.
Yeah, it's like,
Um,
and it was so bad. They didn't even have feet.
Well, what Facebook did really well though was the hardware and the headsets themselves.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of technology that was put inside of there that gave regular people access to the most amazing thing I think humanity's ever created. And I'm going to kind of die on that hill because VR cured my alcoholism.
Really? How did it do that? I'm an addict as well in recovery.
So I say recovered because we've got booze in my fridge and we serve it, and it's been almost 3 years now for me. So
I mean, you say whatever you want. I go. I'm of the opinion that you're kind of always an addict, but I have I just don't want.
That's why I'm President Weed.
That word. Yeah. Well, also I would consider myself clean, not sober, because I also smoke weed, and it's also helped with my addiction as well. But
well, yeah, weed is completely different.
yeah, you can get addicted to it, like you can get addicted to anything, but obviously that it is what it is. I'm
So
very pro.
what ended up happening?
Yeah, please tell the
Yeah,
story.
what ended up happening with me was during 2020, I had all of the Trump bucks, and I spent all of them on I spent it all on tequila, and in the process, got up
You
to like
weren't the only one.
260 pounds, and yeah, right.
A lot of people did that. I was in rehab at the moment, and yeah, there's a lot of talk about how bad that was. But it was the pandemic. It wasn't, it was a lot of
Yeah. So what ends up happening at the end of 2020, it's the 1 year anniversary from my mom passing away to alcoholism and addiction. And yeah, there it is. So I decided to I mentally just kept saying fuck you over and over and over, because I was on the couch, passed out. It was 5 a.m. I drank my last 2 shots of tequila, and then 30 minutes later threw them up and got back to the couch and just sat there, laid down there spinning and just thinking to myself over and over and over again, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I erected this middle finger in my head, and somehow it found the light switch and I could see. And granted, it was only a 5-watt light bulb, so it wasn't seeing very well. But the point of the matter is
Yeah, I saw what you mean.
I found my motivation to not drink ever again, and it was just the pure power of fuck you and nothing else.
What?
And so 2 weeks later, January 6th happened. And then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I've got VR. And I've got the power of politics and social media. Why don't we make a fuck you party? Use that fuck you ideology I just invented and use to quit drinking and create a political movement. And so that's been where I've been going since 2020 was this.
Yeah, having
And-
something to do is helpful, or having something to focus
Well,
on.
it wasn't even just that, because I still had those 2 weeks in between, quitting and figuring out what I want to do with my life. So the reason I quit was because I wanted to enjoy VR. I've got a game that I play called
gotcha.
DCS World, Digital Combat Simulator, and you're flying fighter jets.
That's
Shooting
cool.
missiles and dogfighting and dodging missiles and all sorts of crazy stuff. And turns out, learning to fly a fighter jet, you really can't do that when you're an alcoholic.
yeah.
So now I'm really fucking good at flying, and I haven't had a drink in almost 3 years. So now I can hop in an F-15 and go through the whole startup procedure as if I had a real one, because it's in VR. So every toggle switch, every dial, every button
Is
works
there. Yeah.
as if in real life. So I could go hop in one in real life and go take off and go and engage in an enemy and base.
I would love to see
Like-
an experiment of somebody who's like you, who's learned how to fly a jet but never actually stepped foot in the cockpit, and so doesn't actually know how they feel and everything, but knows where they all are. I guess you couldn't though, because that'd be so dangerous. But you could probably do it with a co-pilot or something. If somebody could take over the controls for you, I would love to just see an
Yeah.
experiment.
So with the the F-15E, it's a tandem because you've got bombing capabilities in the back. So the Wizzo can control the flight systems too.
Oh, okay, so each person has full control of it, if necessary. Oh, okay, yeah, that would be great. That would make a good like a kind of like a
You gotta
Vsauce
you gotta
video.
transfer the controls. There's like a button you gotta hit to transfer it over. But yeah.
Huh. Yeah, no, that would be awesome because I've seen stuff like that. That would make a great one of those pop
There's-
science YouTube channels. Yeah.
Can a politician gamer fly a fighter jet in
Yeah.
real life?
While
Get
he's
Mr. Beast
high.
to sponsor it.
Yeah, Mr. Beast probably would
No.
actually. Yeah.
I can't be high when I do it.
Yeah,
like
maybe-
that's the
maybe
one
not
rule.
that Yeah.
Well, no, like when you're running as President Weed, you can't be too crazy with it. So things like pilots,
Well, actually,
you guys can't smoke weed. I'm sorry.
It's weed is still federally illegal, so how is that going to work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there are going to be certain jobs that say, hey, you can't smoke weed while you're on the job.
no, I
so
meant running
things
for
like,
president.
what do you mean?
Can you do that? Can you run for president if you? Well, I guess Trump is running for president, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
if
it's just
you're
$1,000 to the Federal Election Commission and some paperwork.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, weed is federally illegal, so smoking it's not going to harm your I mean, it's not. It doesn't.
Are you going to tell me?
Get in the way of your campaign?
Are you going to tell? Are you going to tell me that people across
Yeah.
America
No,
don't smoke weed?
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that because if anything, it would probably help your what's the word, persona or whatever.
Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da,
But I'm just saying, I just wanted to make sure that that's not going to be like, oh, by the way, if you're going to run, you can't smoke anymore while you're on the campaign trail.
No.
Yeah, because like that makes
Fuck,
sense.
what? There's
Yeah.
no rules like that. Are you fucking
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah, no, that's stupid. Yeah, that's dumb. I just want to make sure.
I'll get
because
Snoop Dogg to be my campaign manager at that
yeah,
point.
right? Yeah, because I mean, tons of politicians are always doing coke, I'm sure too. So it's probably not. Yeah,
There you
they
go.
don't even care. I'm sure that's not a.
Do Republican politicians sleep with little boys in hotel rooms on
Yeah,
the campaign?
yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's pretty gross. All that terrible shit that they do.
One of my favorite things on Twitter is just not a drag queen every goddamn day. It's another cop, another pastor, another,
Yeah.
parental guardian.
Hold on, let's
like,
see if I can.
and none of them,
There's a
none
there's
of
a
them are
great
drag
picture.
queens.
No, never. They never are. There's this great picture I saw. That's here. I'll see if I can send it to you on Discord from my phone, and I'll bring it up on the
Hell
screen.
yeah.
It's but it's about that.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that that's not an issue because that's I've never thought about that before, but that makes a lot of sense that wouldn't be an issue. Which is good. Oh, it's gonna take me a few minutes to find it, but I'm good at multitasking. Yeah.
Yeah, you
so-
think Willie Nelson is going to stop smoking on his campaign trail?
I guess not. Is he running as well? Or
No, I meant more like his music trail. 'Cause he's 90 now.
Yeah. Has he
Willie
ever
Nelson's
ran?
90 fucking years old, man.
That's crazy. He's old, but he doesn't look that old. Maybe
That's
it's-
power weed.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably the weed. It's pretty good. Yeah, I love weed. It's just it hits me so strong. It's like it's like a psychedelic. Like it'll I mean it is basically.
So,
but
do you
yeah.
smoke indica or sativa?
I don't really have the money to go to a
Option.
Well, like here's the thing, like I where I get it from is still the same shit that they have in legal areas, and I could go to the actual dispensary and do it. It's just expensive. But I
Yeah.
feel like I've tried that, and it doesn't really make it different. Like it's exactly the same to me for some reason. It's really
Now,
strange. Because it shouldn't.
For me,
be,
I
right?
have to smoke indica. I have to smoke indica.
I,
Sativa gets my head kind of
Mhm.
paranoid, and
Yep.
I just start thinking about things that I shouldn't be thinking.
Mhm.
You know, just like childhood. You know, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's
So
yeah. We don't have to go into anything too.
no. That's just my joke because humor is my coping mechanism. All you can really do is
It
laugh
is
at the
best.
pain because.
Yep. Otherwise, you cry.
So yeah.
I'm with you there.
Humor is my big coping
Hold
mechanism.
on.
Now the
Yeah.
also weed.
Yeah, weed. Yeah, it's what it
Well,
does. For
okay,
me-
so
yeah, go
being on the autism spectrum,
ahead.
kind of heavy like the way I am.
I need to get tested.
Weed
for
is the
that.
only thing that, well, weed's the only thing that really calms me down, like mentally and physically. And so here in Michigan, we just passed through, which I got to help out with. Yay, local activism.
Excellent. How'd you
Was
help?
Jaden's Law.
What's
And so
that?
Jaden was, I think he's like 14 right now. And he's pretty heavily autistic. And so he always had a hard time in school because he acted so goofy and consuming medical cannabis that is, CBD potent, that causes him to calm down and act normal. And
Yeah.
so he was prescribed this by doctors, and his medical stuff. It's not just, from some random dude on the street. And he was trying to take his dose at school, and somebody at the school wanted to make an example of him, and they called the police, and they got the drug dogs to rip apart his locker, and the school tried to
Jesus
fuck this kid's life over.
Christ.
So here in Michigan, we got two Democrat lawmakers in the House, local, one step down from this house, local to Michigan, and two of them were able to slip it into a bill, an appropriations bill, and we got Jaden's Law passed for this kid, so that'll stop school administrators from being able to, just be psychos against autistic children that are prescribed something that helps them function.
Yeah,
And
seriously, if you're prescribed it, there really shouldn't be any way of getting around that. I guess.
saying no.
Yeah, the school
So
is local politics. So yeah, if it's legal in the state for medical reasons, it should be
Yeah.
fine. That's
yeah, so we
that's
got it passed, and we did
That's good.
we had a big they had an open mic and everything, so people got to give speeches, and I got to meet Hill Harper, who's running for Democrat for Michigan to replace Debbie Stabenow, and he's pretty far left. Like, one of the very first parts of his speech that he gave was, poverty causes crime. Right there.
Yeah. Crime is a poverty and/or mental health issue. It's in every
And
case.
mental health can be addressed with healthcare.
Yes, indeed. Oh my God. Yeah,
So
food, housing, healthcare, education, transportation. Those are the things that I've really thought about. And housing is a really important one to my homelessness.
I understand that.
Is
There's
disgusting.
just one thing at a time, and you gotta
Yeah.
come up with the thing that rings and sings.
Yeah, healthcare is probably
So-
the first one that's going to pass. That's going to be
There you go.
A huge.
And with healthcare, we also end the war on drugs. And then now we've
Mm-hmm.
let all of these people out of prison that need jobs. So what
Mm-hmm.
jobs can these guys go do? Hey, guess what?
Mm.
If we'd use the center lane divider of our national highway grid, which is all eminent domain already,
Mm-hmm.
now you could build an elevated bullet rail network to connect all of our cities together. To get cars off of the road and planes out of the air, which will lower the price of fuel and make all you goddamn rednecks happy. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, they are super anti it for some reason. I know there's one in California that constantly is under attack.
Technically, Florida has a bullet train. It's the Bright Line. It goes 120 miles an hour top speed, and it's about 90 miles long. So, congrats.
Yeah.
China built 25,000 miles of bullet rail in 14 years. So,
Yeah.
let's get to work, America.
Yeah, seriously, we gotta. It's so crazy to me how like easy.
Now, here's how we could
is
do it the
to
nice
fix
way.
these things. Mm-hmm.
The billionaire class can pay for stuff like this.
Yep.
And so for the Bullet Rail Network, every mile that is paid for willingly by the billionaire class without hesitation, you will have your name written in gold inscribed into, the elevated concrete railing, right? Yay, you won
you go.
capitalism. Look what you were
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
construct with your
Yeah,
philanthropy.
seriously. I mean,
Now,
you might as well.
For those of the billionaires that resist, your name will be written in red.
In red.
Figure that out.
But then their
Well,
name is
because
still
the
gonna be
rose-tinted
written.
glasses of
Yeah. But
the
they gotta be
rose-tinted glasses of revolution are the blood spatters of tyrants and innocent people.
now. That's a good one. You come up with that?
That's mine.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
I looked it up on Google. Nobody else has ever said that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's really
Da
good.
da 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 da. Hey.
Hey, yeah, it's so difficult to like when you come up with something to like. I just say like, one of my favorite quotes is blah blah, and then like or like it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it, because if you learn from it, it's a lesson. Because it's very hard to be like,
There you go.
I came up with that. People get.
It is though.
Yeah, it's so because you don't, it's weird. I don't know. It's just like, it shouldn't be, but
Like, well, there's a thing that I kind of believe in, and it came from Doctor Who,
I can't find.
and
the
it's called
picture.
morphic field theory.
What's that?
Have you ever heard of it?
No,
So
I haven't.
it's this theory that brains can kind of synchronize. So like, have you ever had a thought with somebody at the same time and you both said it at the same time?
Yes.
That same thing. Now,
Mhm.
they found this example happening in the wild over in the Philippines. Hold on, I'm gonna do a dab real quick.
Yeah,
Give me
go
just
right
a second.
ahead.
I
That's funny.
gotta smoke something.
I have so I got into politics actually because I was really into spirituality, because that's the thing with weed, is that it, like I said, it hits me like a psychedelic. I don't really get visuals, but I get very open to those kinds of experiences. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's really crazy how like being high. Wow, big one, huh?
Oh, big fat dab. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Go by all means. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's because the universe is multi-dimensional beyond 3D, and the way have you heard of Flatland?
You mean like the two-dimensional
Yeah, so
plane existence?
yeah. So dimensions
Yeah.
aren't like like oh, it's a creature from another dimension. It's like that what most people are doing is thinking of like parallel universes. Dimensions can exist in the same spot.
They're stacked.
Yeah, exactly. They're in,
That's kind of how that's how the TARDIS works. It's a time and relative dimension in space.
So yeah, so it moves everything around it. So what were you saying? I'll let you finish first, and then I'll go.
Oh, that I actually kind of.
It was about every
Lost.
people's minds, saying the same thing at the same time.
Oh yeah, synchronizing. Yeah. So in the Philippines, they found that these tribes that were separated by thousands of miles, right? Because that whole area of the Pacific Ocean is freaking massive. Like our brains can't really comprehend the distance between all of those islands. But they found a couple of them that had developed the same technology at the same time period, the same way, but thousands of miles apart with no way for them to communicate ever at all once.
Yeah. That's like that's. Have you heard of the 100th monkey experiment or effect or something like that? It was this
no.
study of I don't remember the context of it. I'd have to let me look into it a little bit. But basically, so the idea was that there were these monkeys on the beach, and it actually, funny enough, it might have been around the Philippines or something like that. But they what does I want to? Oh yeah, so what they did was they dropped these sweet potatoes in the beach in the sand, and the monkeys liked the sweet potatoes, but they didn't like the sand. But unfortunately, they didn't really know what to do about it, so they would just eat the sweet potatoes and spit out the sand. And then one day, a young monkey, figured out that you can wash the sand off of the potatoes by sticking them in the water for a second. And they tried to show some other monkeys and were doing that, but it didn't really catch on. But then a couple years later, it did, like when that monkey sort of started having kids and teaching its kids, they started doing it. And then it immediately started happening all over across other islands that weren't connected at all. So it was like this one monkey taught it. Yeah. The other monkeys were kind of keeping it down, and then once it reached a critical mass, it literally would like jump to other islands without even knowing it. Are you offering me a crayon?
Well, I'm trying to say that's a real crayon eating moment right there.
yeah, it's pretty
I
wild.
wash potato.
Yeah, right? Crazy. Boom. Yeah, talk about a light bulb going off in your mind. You know?
Oh my god, that's so funny. But
Okay.
no, that's basically what it is, though. That's kind of what we're dealing with right now on a large societal scale. Like, billionaires are bad. Billionaires are bad.
Yeah.
Billionaires are bad. Now we just need 100 million to say that.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it'll just catch on. Yeah, it's like those words that, like sayings that catch on without you really knowing. It's interesting.
Well, my partner Marcus, who's also my artist, they have been making a lot of stickers lately. And so we've made a whole bunch that, no human is illegal, eat the rich, act your wage. What's a couple more, hun? Be gay, do crime, punch Nazis.
Yeah.
You have to,
You have to actually do that too. Like I can't believe that was like a thing that people were talking about. Like it was, like people were like, well, I mean, it's crazy. Like I understand people who are wanting to be pacifist and everything, and that's totally understandable. But it's like you do have to do that. Like there is protective violence. It's
square up, thought. Nazis aren't allowed here.
Yeah. Bop bop bop. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah. No fascism here.
I'm too fast for you.
Yeah, so going off of that kind of idea of like the way consciousness can connect like that, it's interesting because when I smoke weed, I get a lot more open to like observing those kinds of effects, but for some reason I get like dampened in a way of like causing them. And so I have ADHD. I've never been tested for autism, and if I do have it, it's very mild, but I definitely do think that I have a little bit of it because I've looked at the symptoms and they seem kind of thing. But what I've noticed is that when I'm high, I seem to get very similar to autism. I get like I can't look people in the eye. I can get very overstimulated, and I get very energetic as well too, which I'm not sure if that's super connected. But I
call that I call that high functioning autism.
Yeah, high functioning. Yeah, exactly. I turn into high functioning autism. That's funny. Yeah. I really do get that. But what I've noticed is that what's really strange is that autism seems to like have a strange like dampener on the effect of other people latching on to your vibes. Like it's like or maybe not autism itself, but that sort of behavior when I get it. It's like it seems like a lot of people who are autistic as well, they have difficulty with like social situations, but when I'm high and I feel that way, like I'll say a joke or something like that if I wasn't high would be really funny and everybody would laugh, but like when I'm high it like messes with my timing somehow and it like doesn't connect in the way that it should. Like it's such a strange phenomenon.
See, that has the opposite effect for me.
Yeah, see,
like being high makes it all flow better.
Yeah, so maybe I think what it does is it switches something around in that way.
I think what you need to do is stick to indica.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'll have to
indica.
Give that another try.
Indica mellows you out because you said hyper. So hyper means you're smoking some sativa.
I
So
know, but it's like,
indica
how
makes you chill out. It makes words float across your head. You get more chill vibes too. Like people, be like, "What's up?" Like,
I'm
you
gonna
chilling? Yeah, I'm chilling.
yeah, I'm gonna do
It's just
that.
like, yeah, I'm good. Straight up though, stick to indica. And also, there is a massive difference between flour and concentrate. So if you can get the chance to have pure indica concentrate, try switching to that because A, it's a lot fucking cheaper than herb. B, if you get a completely different mental effect from wax than you do herb. Like it's hard to describe, but when I
Would-
smoke some really good herb, I'll get like flush in the cheeks really hard and just get giggly and floaty. But when I'm smoking wax, it just kind of clicks my brain into normal operation. I don't know. It's
Interesting.
weird.
Yeah.
Because I'll sit there and I'll like I gotta show you some work photos sometimes, some of the stuff I've worked on. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I've installed 5G in Gretchen Whitmer's office.
That's the other
I've
thing.
worked
Keep going. I was gonna say something, but yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say
Oh
something
yeah,
after you.
I've installed a CPU in a data farm for the defense. It's over. That one was a $6,000 CPU in a farm that was worth probably around $300 million with all the equipment that was in there.
High five.
And
Bang. There we go. Yeah, I like to do that when I'm high too. When other people are high. That one gets people no matter what, pretty much.
no, it's funny because I used that one of my Instagram video.
Yeah, it's such an
I did the
obvious
high five
joke.
with my
It's such
buddy.
a great one, but it's always good.
Oh, it's so much
It's just you're both high and you do something good, you get a high five. But I get really yeah. The other thing, what I wanted to say was that I get really good at focusing on things, which is my ADD is a huge
Hyper-focusing.
problem. Yeah, so I get hyper focused. I have trouble and I think this is mainly just because of it's weed and so it affects your short-term memory. So
It
like
affects your mental state. Yeah.
I have trouble like learning new information, but I'm really good at applying old information. Like when I was doing like electrician stuff, I would smoke after I would like learn stuff and I would do it when I
Yeah.
was practicing and I would actually like understand things on a much deeper level. Like it would really help me like figure out why things work the way they do and I could find workarounds and shortcuts and things like that. And it's like it's unbelievable. It was really effective for that. So but I need to cuz like I don't think I've ever sat down and been like, I need to find indica. Like I've asked for. No, I've definitely have. Like I've definitely bought indica before.
Oops.
I don't know. It doesn't. But CBD seems to help a little bit. Where because CBD
Yeah,
kind
CBD
of
is good.
eats the THC away, so it kind of helps in that way for me because. If I have a really small amount, it tends to do good without a lot of bad. I do get kind of shot afterwards, where I'm like, after a while, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty normal. But yeah, so I kind of want to just get. I'll save up some money and try to get some. You said so. Does do carts count as concentrate? Because they are obviously, right? Or
Yeah.
okay.
They count as concentrate.
Because I was gonna be like, I don't have a dab rig, and I would be afraid to first of all, it'd be a lot of money, and second of all, like I have to take like I have to grind up the flour, and I have to like, I don't literally, but I basically have to like count the individual ground up bits of flour to make sure that I don't smoke too much. It's crazy. Like
Really?
I have a one hitter. It's like the size of a cigarette. Here it is. I had one that actually looked like a cigarette, but
Yeah.
so this one's cool because it has this little push thing, so you could push out the stuff. But literally,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it's great. I have to make sure that I can't fill the entire thing because that's too much. I have to I push the thing like halfway because I have to make sure that I only take half of this. Like that. That's
Interesting.
That's how strongly it affects me. It's crazy. It's great though. It does do
There you
great
go.
things, but it's really annoying because it also like tires me out really bad because like after a couple days like I really do need I have a medical license, and I'm supposed to my prescription was to do it every day or like 6 days a week, because well, it was 6 days a week. I talked them down to 5 because I was like, that's too much. I don't think I could handle that. And then it got down to 3 days a week, but I really haven't been doing it. I haven't been following it because it's just, God, but it's so great because like I really should, because I'm not doing enough right now. Like it's like I really do need to like. The only issue is that yeah, it does like it just makes me like it brings me from like 0 to 100. Like it's like I really wish that I could just go up to like 50 or something like that.
Yeah, well, and then with a wax vape, then you can just do a little sip of a puff, and then
Yeah.
wait 5 minutes because it doesn't keep burning,
Yeah, so I'll give that a
and there's
try.
like no smell.
Yeah, that's the thing too. My parents aren't a big fan of the smell, but they are really cool about it overall. So I appreciate that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. All right, so let's summarize then. So your plan is to get a
To get
yeah, why don't
social
you
media
explain?
dorks that are far left to run for House and Senate seats and play their game by their rules, toe the line on the policies, and start coming up with slogans and with merch and start getting outfits, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of the big things is if you want to get people's attention, well, you can do it one of three ways: a lot of money, screaming like an incoherent lunatic, or pure Riz factor.
Ah,
Ta-da!
there you go. You mix them, and then you got the ultimate. Yeah, you find the right combination. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible,
I
but it's
appreciate
true
your,
though. Oh,
very
well,
kind.
what's wild though is I'll just be sitting there in public and people will come up to me. Can I take a photo with you?
Well, your suit.
The
is
hell yeah,
very,
I'd be happy to.
great. Yeah, you just have that Riz.
Well-
that autistic Riz is just too much.
Dude, and then I try to always have like stickers or posters with me because I've had the propaganda posters I've made is just a picture of a badger with kind of like a devilish smile and the top hat and weed leaves, and it says FYP 2020.
Do you have a picture of
Really
that?
simple print. Not in VR.
Okay, no problem.
Shoot, but you'll see it eventually, I'm sure. But I just print it off on my laser printer at home. It's just black and white, and then it's got the QR code on the front and the back. Tiny little one on the front and big one on the back. And so when I'm out,
You did.
I'll hand them out.
You
If
showed
some-
me that. Yeah, so I can actually
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
use that as like a thumbnail or something like that. I'll put that in like.
There you go. Yeah, I got a color version too. If you don't want to use the black
Yeah,
and white.
send me
But,
whatever, and I'll manage
Yeah, I use the black and white one just for printing purposes because I've got a Brother printer, and you can buy toner cartridges for $10 each for that.
Oh.
So
Wow. Yeah, that's like good.
yeah, it makes printing at home cheap. So
Yeah.
I've got stacks of them, and I hand them out everywhere I go. And I've had at least like 4 or 5 different people now tell me, I'm gonna hang this on my wall. I'm gonna color this in. This looks like so much fun.
That's
It's
awesome.
just-
That's great. Yeah,
Dude.
for coloring it in. That's a really good.
That is the
wildest.
wildest feeling ever, though.
Yeah, that's something that like that makes me think of like weed and stuff like that. That's something that I would like think of like like this is a version that's in color, and then here's for coloring in yourself. Like that's really great. Oh man.
But man, I had a kid, like a 17-year-old kid, when I gave him that. He's like, I'm gonna hang this on my wall. Thing ever. It's just like, dude,
Yeah,
that
that's
fucked
gotta
with
feel
me.
good. Yeah.
That fucked with me so hard because it's just like, man, if this little kid thinks I can do something, I better not give up.
Don't let them down. Yeah, yeah, they'll love it.
So
Well, all right, it's been great
bullet
getting
trains.
to know you. Yeah, bullet trains. Yeah, like well, I say food, housing, transportation, education, all that stuff, healthcare. How do you say it? So that you can. Your main
healthcare and the drug war, bullet train. Well, the short version is healthcare, weed, and trains.
things. Yeah, actually, you know what? We don't. We probably we have a little bit more time. How are you on time? Do you have any? You're good. Awesome.
I'm fine.
What?
I'm chilling like a villain.
Excellent. How, like I how do you connect the drug war to healthcare directly? Because I do see how they're related, but I don't see how like universal healthcare equals ending the drug war. I'm curious on your opinion and thoughts on that.
Well, it's more like ending the drug war requires universal health care. You can't put the before the horse.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see. Yeah, because you need it, and
Because
also
if you are addicted to drugs, you need to have
Yeah.
access to therapy and access to clean drugs and access to shelter. Which
yeah,
the shelter part is in there. It's just not said out loud because there's already so much other stuff going on. Which,
yeah.
you know, shelter is, you know, you've already seen my video, you know, shelter, food, and medicine. And the
Yeah,
billionaire class
yeah.
doesn't have a right to exist. And that's one of my other slogans.
Yeah, clothing is included in shelter, in my opinion. That's why I don't say clothing.
Yes.
in,
No,
uh,
it is. It
in
is.
in health.
You know, you're not gonna wear you're not gonna wear potato sacks.
Yeah, it's like it's shelter for your body. You know, it's you know, individual shelter. Yeah, and it's, you know, we're not like you know, the stereotype of communists, where it's all the same gray bullshit. Even though, I mean, goddamn,
No.
it would be kind of nice. It would be better than nothing, but like,
Okay.
it would be.
Well, I say this sometimes when I'm out shopping because capitalism is a hellscape.
Yeah.
You know, it's
awful. I
like,
hate
you
it.
know, capitalism is the mother of all invention. The invention.
Yeah,
It's
right?
something
Yeah,
like,
literally. Oh
abs-
my god, and it's just garbage.
and it's consumable garbage that just goes in a landfill, and it's
Yeah,
just
that
nothing but waste.
Doesn't
And
actually help anything, and it makes things worse.
it doesn't do anything. Like plastic, not even disposable plastic silverware. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
At least, you know, try to make something that's biodegradable
Like,
plastic.
yeah,
Number
like
one.
you can. Yeah, it's like
Well,
talk
hemp
about innovation.
hemp is
yeah.
biodegradable.
Or
You can make stuff out of hemp.
yeah, and also for more sturdy stuff, like wood and mushrooms are good. You can make silverware out of wood. Like the Asian people with chopsticks have been doing that forever. You know, like, I mean, wood is. When you see, here's the thing: you could, you know, it's not super great to always be cutting down lumber, but you can compress stuff into shapes. You know, like you can make like drywall.
Hempcrete.
Hempcrete.
Oh,
Oh
no, hempcrete.
I'm not. I didn't know about that. You can make silverware out of hemp that's usable.
You can make anything out of hemp that's usable.
I know
Like,
you can make rope
hemp
and clothing, and you can.
Yeah, you can make concrete out of hemp.
Jeez, is it? I would have to look more into that. That's interesting because I've seen
It's
stuff.
a hemp concrete blend, which makes it extremely strong and tensile because concrete is really brittle and it's hard to find a material that's not poisonous that can hold concrete together. So when you treat hemp correctly, it can not rot in the concrete and it'll hold it together almost like rebar and make it stronger
Yeah, it's
and
you
cheaper.
know, like that's the.
Okay,
key.
here's one for you. Hydrodiesel. You never heard of hydrodiesel?
No, I haven't.
Hydrodiesel. Do you know how diesel works in an engine?
Is it different than gasoline?
Very different.
Okay, yeah, then no.
Gasoline requires a spark plug, right? So when the piston gets to the top, the spark plug goes off at the right time and it goes poof.
Yep.
Gasoline is super flammable, right? Gasoline will go woof when you light it on fire.
Whoosh.
Diesel is not. Diesel is more energy dense. It's more compressed, and so to get diesel fuel to properly ignite, you have to compress it really tight, like a pressurized bottle, and then with just a little bit of heat, not a spark, but just a little bit of heat, it auto ignites when it's at the right pressure, and then poof, away you go. So water is incompressible. You can't compress water. So that's how
Yeah.
physics works.
Yeah.
Water, you cannot compress. Hydraulic fluid, right? You can compress
what they
hydraulic
use it
fluid. That's how your brakes work. That's how your transmission works.
Uh-huh.
It's because it's oil, and oil is compressible. You can spring it because it's a long chain of hydrocarbons,
yeah.
which is how diesel works. Diesel is a long chain of hydrocarbons because remember, it's dense, it's full of stuff. So when you compress it really tight, it goes kaboosh and it breaks apart. Now, hydrodiesel is a blend of 40% water and 60% diesel. And what happens is normally water and fuel don't mix, right? They separate.
Yeah.
Hydrodiesel has a special treatment done to it where it stays emulsified. Emulsification is when two things are mixed perfectly. They're not chemically attached, but they're just mixed really well. So by emulsifying water in diesel fuel, which is the most ass backwards logic ever,
Yeah.
it runs in a diesel engine cleaner and with more power, with
Because of the
40% less
incompressibility?
actual fuel,
Huh.
because the water doesn't compress.
Yeah. So you need less pressure to.
Well,
bake
no,
the
you still
time?
need the same amount of pressure, but it takes up the volume. It takes up the unoccupied space.
Ah. Huh.
And then it still compresses and ignites, and the heat is enough to evaporate it all, and then it self-cleans the soot on the way out, too.
Wow.
Water vapor.
Yeah.
You get water vapor.
That's.
So,
That's amazing.
we have technology that can fix stuff. All right, here's one, all right? I need to send you the video after we're done with this. I
Well, I
made
do a lot of reaction
a
stuff
hat.
too, so I'm happy to watch it. The other two. Yeah.
So I made a hat that is a sun hat. I like
Oh,
making
you
hats.
made this. Oh,
So
okay.
what it is, I made this sun hat. So it was a regular ass sun hat, but with the space, right, that you got going around on the brim, I attached flexible solar panels. You can bend them, tie them, you can bop them, you can pull them, you can stretch them, right? And
Wow.
I put 4 panels on this hat and secured them down with different types of glue and hooked up, soldered a bunch of cables together and put a USB port on it so I could charge my phone while I'm walking on a sunny day with my sun hat. And I made a
That's
little
awesome.
video on Instagram and it got like 4.5 million views. And it's just a proof of concept for my invention, which is called mobile solar systems. And what it does is you scale up these flexible panels to be 60 feet, 53 feet long and 35 feet wide. And then you put a ratchet strap into both ends. And then you take a semi truck and you pull it up next to it. And then the driver gets out of the semi truck and he throws one strap over, throws the other strap over, and then using the ratchet system that most semi truck trailers have on them already, tarps and shit, and securing payloads. And you just ratchet strap it over, and then you plug it into the cab. And then now you've got a range extender for your electric semi truck. Away you go. Or when you get to your destination, right? So say this truck is an Amazon truck. Now this Amazon truck pulls into the parking lot, gets out, pulls the truck away, and then takes the plug from the truck and plugs it into the receptacle on the ground. And then now that truck is feeding 8,000 watts of power to the building.
Okay, so let me get this. Let me just get it. So the solar panels are like rolled up inside the truck, but then you pull them out and like
Nope.
put them on top. How? Yeah, where does?
Nope.
Where does-
So the way it's designed to work is you can just pull the panels right off and leave them on the ground.
Oh, okay. So they're normally on the top.
It's just a plastic tarp. It's just a plastic tarp
Okay.
full of flexible solar panels that you can roll up, and you have a ratchet strap to secure it onto both ends, and to also be the system to pull it over by one person.
I see. Oh, okay. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
because-
that's great.
I gave myself a design challenge a number of years ago, and I said I want to put a solar panel on the back of a semi truck. Go. And then I had to think about it. I was like, oh shit, that's actually not easy because solar panels are big and square and heavy, and semi trucks are really like those trailers are really flimsy and fragile. Like they are paper. Like there is nothing holding that shit together. Like you cannot
Really?
put any stresses on those. Yeah, you can't. Dude, they're the flimsiest motherfucking things ever. Like they are actual fucking paper.
I didn't know
So
that.
you can't exactly like put weight on it, especially with wind,
Truck.
right? And all this other stuff. But you know what? Every semi truck, for the most part, has a system where you can put a tarp on it and ratchet the tarp over and secure it down. And if you look really closely on semi truck trailers, a lot of them will have a little round thing along the one side, so you can ratchet strap stuff down. And so
Find a way.
I thought, man. And then I had to find flexible solar panels. And then I found a manufacturer that makes a lot of them. I was like, holy shit, if you scaled this up, this would actually work. And you can get around 8 to 12,000 watts of power out of this. And now, granted, if you're driving a truck, that's not going to give you very much power because the Tesla semi-truck is a piece of dog shit. And a pure electric semi-truck is the dumbest fucking thing you could ever fucking do. The best solution you could ever do is an electric diesel hybrid where you have an electric drive axle in the back for the rear tires, and then you have a tiny diesel generator on the front to generate electricity. And then the batteries sit on either the frame rail or the saddlebags can be removable battery units. So you can quick charge by just swapping out battery cells. Now, the way this whole system works is by the drive axles being electric, you have around a 62% efficiency compared to a mechanical drive with an engine and transmission and all that stuff. You get around a maximum 6 to 12% efficiency. So you're just saving infinite amount of money per mile with a diesel electric hybrid semi truck. Then whenever you get low on battery, the diesel generator on the front kicks on, and then it just turns a little generator coil, which there you're at like 90% efficiency for recharging from fuel consumed to
Jeez.
energy put back into the vehicle. Now, if you have a solar panel on the back of the trailer feeding you extra power, every time you hit the brakes on the semi truck to slow down, you feed power back into your batteries because you have electric braking. So instead of hearing a Jake brake, it's just. Isn't that nice?
Wow. Yeah, that is a lot nicer.
Here's what's even better. Because of the weight difference of a giant heavy fucking cast iron block for the engine, huge fucking engine, right, in a semi truck, and then you got the transmission, and then you got your fuel tanks, and then you got your your drive axle systems and all that shit. Making the hybrid version, it's about 5,000 pounds less weight, depending on some things here and there, how you do it. So the diesel electric hybrid version, it weighs less than the regular semi truck. It can drive further. It's hyper efficient.
Huh.
Like we have solutions available. Capitalism prevents us from using them because no big manufacturer is willing to put the money down into experimenting with making some production vehicles. Other than Edison Motors up in fucking Saskatchewan, Canada. And they built this thing underneath a goddamn tarp in the middle of the fucking woods. Hundreds of miles away from civilization. So
Yeah.
if those Canucks can do it, why the fuck can't we have something like that here? And I propose putting a whole bunch of them together and putting them on a set path and calling it a bullet train.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, that's one way to do it. Damn. Man, that's incredible.
You need to look up Edison Motors, though. Write that down. They've
I
done
do
amazing
need to
shit this
look
past
that up. All right, let me
amazing
look
shit this
that
past
up.
year. We're friends together on TikTok, so
Oh, wow. So you know
they
them
took my
personally? They took
a
my-
little bit. I haven't chatted with them too much because they've been so busy, but I leave them comments on their videos all the time, and they always leave me likes back. And they like my content too, so they see me. You know, I'm just not gonna bug people when they're busy, because they're clearly working on something. So I'm nobody. Ignore me, But I gave them the idea of putting flexible panels on different things. So they put some panels on the top of the cab for the truck they built.
That's crazy. I'm looking for a
So much
picture
fun.
of that. I can't find it. For some reason, my OBS is not letting me share an image because I wanted to show a visual of what you were talking about the tarps and everything, and I kind of did, but it didn't quite work. But it's fine. But yeah, I was listening. That's crazy. That's really cool. I have to look that up. I have it written down in this tab right now, so I'll look that up later.
Yeah, Edison Motors has come a long way. They're on YouTube and TikTok mostly.
Okay, so I'll actually check them out on that.
Yeah.
So let's see. Well,
Oh yeah, they're bud. They're super Canadian, eh?
Yeah, it's really gotta love inventors and things. Canadian Oh yeah, those
Oh, man.
posers up there.
I invent all sorts of goofy stuff.
I bet
It's-
you're
my
high
brain
all
doesn't
the
know how
time.
to shut
You're pretty
off.
Smart, so yeah.
Well, you're a
Yeah. Now, if you think I'm smart, I've got you fooled. I've done a lot of stupid shit in my life.
Well, a lot of smart people make mistakes too. People are only human, right?
Dude, for real though, like
Oh, trust me, I've
I've been watching so much police body cam lately. I've been trying to figure out
why.
how
I'm so
to.
sorry to hear that.
Well, because no, it's okay. So here's part of how my ADHD and autism brain works: is A, hyperfixation,
Yep.
B, problem solving. I like to fix
Yeah, I
stuff.
like to
That's
do
how my brain
problem
works.
solving too, yeah.
So police, why do they do the things that they do? Well, the only way you're ever going to learn that is if you watch through their eyes and see what they go through on a day-to-day basis. So I had, excuse me, I had some trouble getting help with the VA, which I still am. Fuck the VA.
Oh, so
But they called a
you're
social worker for me.
A veteran?
Yeah, I served '09 through the end of 11, so almost 3 full years. It was like
Wow.
1 month shy.
What,
Now-
one thing at a time. So
Yeah, so the social worker, came over and she's like, hey, I want to try to find things that would help you, and I got food allergies, so there's not much that can actually help me, which is really frustrating.
That is annoying.
So, she had a cop with her. Obviously, social worker needs backup because crazy people be crazy. Which, I mean, I'm a little crazy, but I'm crazy in the funny haha crazy.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So I was talking with her, and I was kind of explaining to her some of the stuff that we've been talking about today. And grocery stores on average throw away 30 to 40% of their food in the trash compactor, gone.
Yeah.
And
yep. And they pour
and
bleach
I
on
asked
it
the cop.
sometimes so that people can't have it.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Well, I asked the cop. I said, hey, what happens if a homeless person starts digging through the dumpster for food that's been thrown away? He's hungry. He needs food.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be cruel to tell him, no, you can't? Because
Yes.
for many, the cruelty is the point.
Yep.
And so he he started vibing with me real quick. And, at the end of it, he gave me a solid fist bump. And which normally cops are like, hey, no touchy interaction ever. So, focusing on the point that the cruelty is the point and that poverty causes crime, at the end of it, I had the cop on my side.
Yeah.
I had the cop saying,
he knows more
because
than most.
as much
people.
as, well, the other thing is as much as we, like to demonize cops a lot of the time because of the power that they hold over society, they're still people too. And when you get the chance to break it down for them as to things that would make their job easier, and you get to sell it to them on a platform of construction, not destruction, with the rhetoric and the conversation, then they're on your side. And I've lost mutuals on TikTok because I'm trying to get the police to make their own lives easier. And I'm not going to, obviously, but if I can get 1/3 of the police in America on my side supporting universal health care and ending the failed drug war, those are the good cops.
Yeah. I agree. There are a lot of people who are trapped by the situation of policing. The thing is, we actually don't need police at all. We can have a much better.
For the most
form
part,
of
we don't
law
need
enforcement.
police.
Yeah, we can. We like we don't like we could have elected citizen mutual law enforcement. But I also
After
agree that
all
it's
of
not gonna go
after
away
all of the body
immediately.
cam footage I've watched this past 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like most of my content from YouTube is FOIA request body cam footage of small shit to big shit. And you cannot remove police in society right now due to the damage that capitalism has done. By implementing the policies that we've talked about that I want my party to toe the line on, when those policies are implemented and the trickle-down effects of those policies of healing the damage that has been done by giving people shelter, by giving people medicine, by giving people therapy, you will reduce the need for police naturally. You don't need to fucking abolish them if you remove the reason why we need them in the fucking first place.
Yeah, they. It's
That's
really,
the way we get rid of police, by taking away their job for them. We don't need to abolish the police. We need to give people health care so they don't call the police.
Yeah, and
Because,
well,
oh my God,
also separating
alcohol
police
is the
from,
reason.
from
Well, alcohol
healthcare,
is the
mental
reason
health
why
care
people,
issues.
like, dude, the amount, you can't have regular citizens ever be able to do the job that police do. I'm going to die on that fucking hill. With the way alcoholism runs rampant in this country, drunk, entitled white women are the greatest threat to America right now after the billionaires. Because they they are the absolute shittiest
I feel
people
like they're more
other
likely
than
to
hardened
call
criminals.
the police on people than actually.
No, they'll call the
the
police
crime.
while they're being arrested by the police, saying, "This
Yeah.
officer is abusing me."
Yeah.
Like they get not even belligerent, but belligerent drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah.
there's a whole world of difference between those two levels. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I
So-
believe it.
The evils of the police are the results of capitalism. If we want to stop the evils of
That
what
is
police
true.
end up doing, you have to abolish capitalism. And as we saw from the graph earlier, we at the bottom have nothing, and that's where crime comes from, is from poverty. So
Yeah.
if you want to reduce crime and abolish the police at the same time, you'll get rid of capitalism, and you do the things that you said, which is shelter,
Yeah, food,
clothing,
housing, healthcare, education.
food, medicine, education. You know, how many times have people come out of prison because education was able to help them?
Yeah.
Granted, not too often, but the success stories are there, and I will never fucking invalidate the mountain that those poor souls had to climb over.
Yeah. The issue of crime and stuff is actually, I mean, police are ultimately unnecessary, but the main issue is, I mean, the causes are poverty and or mental health issues, which are solved with
And the drug war
healthcare.
too.
Yeah, and the drug war. That's that. Yeah.
So
see,
here's how ending the drug war helps police. Right? Here we go.
Makes
You ready?
the
You ready?
jobs
You ready for
go
some? You ready for some big brain shit?
Yeah.
What happens if you go down to the local wellness center and the methamphetamine is free and clean, but you have to talk to a therapist and it has to be taken under supervision? Versus going to get $5 to go get some meth that has been messed with by the dealer and cut and whatnot because it came all the way from Mexico, or shake and bake meth up in northern Michigan where I'm from. It has to be made in a Gatorade bottle.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I actually
So
don't think,
the way you get rid of drugs is you undercut them
yeah.
by making them free and available with therapy, which is part of universal health care.
Yeah.
So if we have health care and we end the drug war, we could get rid of half the police in the nation overnight.
I feel like you wouldn't
Oops.
even necessarily need to always
Did I
do
say
it.
something bad?
How do you do that thing with your eyes? Because I see you close your eyes a lot too. Is that? Oh, okay. Haha, that's a good idea. So thumbs up, closes your eyes.
They're called.
It also does like a. It does like a. Yeah, that. Oh, okay.
So
Ah.
they're called Visemes. But with newer headsets that have come out, which maybe I'll be able to afford someday. I bought this with Trump bucks, so that's the only reason why I have it. It has eye tracking and mouth tracking too. So every time I would blink, it would actually blink and it would like track the exact
Okay, so
position
yeah,
of my
when you
eyes.
actually
and-
close your eyes, it does that too. But it doesn't seem to
Yeah,
be
it
doing
would.
that right now. You don't have that turned on?
No, no, my headset doesn't have that stuff.
Oh, okay. So they could have that.
My headset has the fancy finger controls.
Yeah.
That's what
which
mine
is
does.
pretty
And
cool.
it does the body stuff too. Does the full body tracking because I do well, I wanted to do this and I also wanted to do Beat Saber. So when I'm playing Beat Saber, I've got this all rigged up in Beat Saber.
Is there
But
a
I've got my red
a
tie
foot
on.
version of Beat Saber too?
It's called Dance Dance Revolution. That's
Yeah.
the foot version of Beat
Yeah,
Saber.
no, I meant like because you have controls on your feet. I was wondering if you could also do things with your feet too. Yeah.
No, I wish though. That
That's
would
a
be
good
so much
answer, though.
fun to be like.
Yeah, to be able to involve those, or I guess it would have to be a Dance Dance Revolution stomping kind of motion, because I don't think you can really. Cut
Yeah, you'd have to like
very
go
well.
wide, front back.
Well, I mean, if you're
front back,
flexible,
you
enough,
know.
you can kick like that.
Oh my god. Well, I've got my Apple Watch tuned into my live stream. It feeds data to my live stream, and I've got my heart rate plugged into it. So every time I do a live stream, my heart rate is on screen. And so when I'm doing Beat Saber, dude, I can get up to 170 BPM.
Wow, there you go. That's
So,
that's
look-
almost 200.
Like I say, yeah, dude, it's VR changed my life. It's the
I believe
weirdest
it.
weirdest fucking thing to say, but I mean, look at me now.
I feel bad.
Look at
'cause
me now.
I got PSVR, and that was kind of cool, but they didn't have as much stuff. connected to it.
Here's what you can do.
Hmm?
You can get an Oculus Quest 2, and you can link it to your PC if you've got a gaming PC. You can wirelessly, no cable.
Really? Wireless. What
Mhm.
about the controllers and stuff? You
It
can
has
get those
controllers,
separately?
but you don't need to use controllers. With the Quest 2, you can just use your bare hands, and you can just actually reach out and just poke stuff to interact with it.
That's pretty cool. But what kind of cameras does it use?
Infrared. It's got 4 little infrared cameras, top and bottom. So if you're playing something like Poker Stars VR, you literally reach out and grab the cards with your hand, and when you're in VR for long enough, you get this thing called phantom sense, where your brain is actually tricking you into thinking that it's there. So if somebody if they come up too close to me in VR, it'll give me like a tickling sensation in my shoulder where my brain says that I should have been
You
brushed.
can like feel it. I've gotten some
My brain is
VR stuff, but
my brain tricks me, dude. Sometimes when I'm when I'm flying in DCS World and I have a really nasty crash, it'll make my stomach do a flip because it was like
Oh, yeah. I imagine that
Bad.
effect is amplified under weed, right? Or does it surprisingly?
Well, for me, thankfully, I've stayed in VR long enough where my brain is fully adjusted, which is why the phantom sense kicks in. Because your brain is finally assimilated in, and your eyes trick you and all sorts of stuff. So,
Oh, that's gotta be fun.
dude, it's fun messing with the human mind. I
Yeah.
can gaslight myself.
Tell me about it. Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect.
Going back onto the police thing though.
Yeah,
You
let's hear it.
actually, yeah. So it really, yeah. The main problem is the drug war, like you said, and prison. But the thing is, police are not actually, their job isn't actually to protect you, and not only that, there was a ruling in the Supreme Court that they are not obligated to protect you either. Like that isn't the
2003.
job. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so their job is to protect capital. They don't really have any obligation to protect.
Which is
citizens.
why abolishing, well, through time, abolishing capitalism abolishes the police.
Yeah.
But it's not an overnight process.
No,
And if you
and
try to
they're
pull the
going
splinter out
fight
too quickly,
against it very hard.
so what we do is like what I did with that cop earlier on my front porch. He thought he was just dealing with another crazy person. And at the end of it, he gave me a fist bump and he was like, dude, if you actually get some. So, and one of my friends from social media, Bad Boy Gaming for Dads, he's a cop and he was violently assaulted by, a
Yikes.
criminal who is a very bad person. And he had to fight for his life for like 11 minutes. And, just recently they did the case in court because, they were able to detain the bad guy. And he was somebody that, one of those people that does need to be in prison and go through some sort of reformation process. It sucks, but that's the dark truth and the cold hard reality of it is some people are just violent and mean and they want to hurt people and they do need to kind of be put in a cage and under supervision. And it sucks because you can't fix everything that's broken in the world. And it's the most heartbreaking thing in the world to experience is, maybe through time and compassion and love and care, but that's such a long far away from where we're at right now. And we got to go one little baby step at a time because we've got a mountain of shit to inherit. And all of us are just little ants. And the best we can do is pick up one little pebble and move it over there. The way we change it is we get all these ants to work together and slowly, or even overnight, if we work hard enough, that mountain can be moved one pebble at a time. So, if you want to abolish the police, you got to guarantee everyone shelter, food, and medicine and clothing. And
Yeah.
the police job will disappear before our eyes. And then they'll go do something else that isn't brutalizing people that are mentally ill, that are stealing a juice box and a pack of bread so that they can get by. Right?
Yeah. The quicker way to do that, they've done a lot of studies on this, and there's a lot of data and scientists or science on it. The way to do that is you replace jail with basically rehabs. Not like
Yeah.
not the same as drug rehab necessarily, but yeah, it's all because it's all mental health issues. Some
is.
people need
A
to
lot
be
of it is.
held, but you treat it based. I mean, yeah, but prison doesn't do anything for anybody except make people
No.
better criminals. You know, it doesn't.
For the most part,
It incentivizes.
which is why ending the drug war is so important.
But that, yeah, because it's because the problem is that prison is an industrial complex like the military. They make
a
they make a lot
for-profit.
of money off of it. Yeah, through slave labor and also just the same money that could be gone into actually housing,
Helping
educating,
people.
and feeding people. Yeah, and giving them health care is just given to prisoners in a shitty way where most of the money just goes to the prison itself.
So here in Michigan, right? I'm over in Lansing, so our police force is already kind of small, and over in Flint, they've got an even smaller police force. Bay City and Saginaw are higher up than Flint. It's kind of like a diagonal from the center. It's like it goes up into the crux of the
How's
thumb.
the water
like,
in
right
Flint?
in.
It's still.
They've
bad,
got
right?
most of it fixed.
Okay.
What they had to do was they had to use these big machines that would push in a new line and pull out the old lead line at the same time. And it's a really delicate thing, but it just goes all the way through and you got a whole new line. And they've been doing that for a few years now. So they've got most of the city done.
Okay.
But
good.
what I wanted to talk about specifically
go ahead.
was Bay City and Saginaw because for some reason they have got the wildest predator problem with adults to underage
That's
children. Now
an interesting award. to have.
Chris Hansen is still running his sting
to catch a
operation, but what
predator?
he's been doing now is he's working with the police departments directly. Like from the very start with a new show on True Blue TV, which it's a YouTube channel. Well, it shows what the police see. It's the True Blue body cam,
Yeah.
right? So they that's how the channel started,
still
but then they started.
propaganda,
Well, it's
though.
from True TV.
But I'm sure
Well,
it's-
it's from True TV.
Yeah, but that's,
so
that's
what
not
they
even
did
a real
is-
word. It's just TRU. but
Well,
go
I
on.
know, but what they
Yeah, it's
what they
capitalized.
started doing is they started giving Chris Hansen money and working with police departments here in Michigan, Florida, and one other place. Two districts in Florida, one out west, and like 2 districts here in Michigan. And a lot of them, and it's just the same. It's just the predator poachers, right? They're just trying to catch online predators to a sting house. No, there's no like suit. Well, I mean, there's cutting, right? And they got a couple of cameras, so some of the back and forth edits are really funny. In one episode, they had the movie poster for Predator in the background, and they had a small TV playing Predator.
What? Oh
So
my
it's just
God.
like that's so funny. I have very little.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I have very little sympathy for child predators. Like they are
Yeah,
damaged
no,
individuals that
yeah.
need help, but they are targeting children, and there is very, very little sympathy in my heart for that. So,
Yeah.
what has happened though is there has been, like, it almost feels like there's been more people up in Saginaw having issues than down in Florida because of the number they've been able to catch so easily. So it's just weird that they're not like there's definitely predators over in Grand Rapids. But like for some reason Bay City, Saginaw, it's just so bad, and that's where poverty has hit the hardest in
Well,
Michigan because
DeSantis
all of the
is-
manufacturing left.
In charge of Florida, so maybe that has something to do with it. He
Yeah,
gave wider definitions of child molester. I mean, I'm pretty sure that like part of it is just being gay. I think is part of their thing. That's
Yeah.
a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's pretty bad. But yeah, like anything, it's just a mental health issue. The thing that makes it a mental health, because because you're right, they are it's very difficult to empathize with child predators.
Well, a lot of them are, for the most part, they're elderly men on disability with
There's women, too.
no ability to do anything. And I'm not saying, disability as in like everyone is on like in wheelchairs or anything, but it's more like, you know, they're on medical or they're on government disability checks. So like some of them will travel an hour and a half to
Yeah. Well, they
go
don't
meet
have
up with.
things to do that are good.
Exactly. So, you know, part of that poverty creates crime thing is if they don't have the money to go out and enjoy society a little bit, then they become predators.
And it's not even just that. It's also important to have it doesn't have to be a career, but something that you kind of do most
And
days.
a hobby, an outlet.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where stuff like VR can be such a good outlet for that because you know when you're in here for a $300 headset, there's so much stuff that you can do. And it gives you access to infinite worlds of creativity. You know, like this avatar, I've worked on this, you know, in Unity and built a bunch of stuff into it. And
What about
it's
how would you feel about let's say, you know, you're in charge, about people if there was a we don't have to go too deep into it, but I always like to ask this question. So how do you, if the topic comes up, how do you feel if, because you brought up VR yourself, if people started using it to simulate that sort of activity, but it would it would keep, but
that's
like,
going to be, yeah.
it keeps actual people.
No, I know
safe.
what you're saying.
Yeah. If
So
it does.
I get what you're saying.
You haven't done a lot of actual
but
studies on it.
part of that is also back down to wanting to do things that are inappropriate with someone that isn't anywhere close to your age means there's something very fucking wrong with you. Now,
And there's
giving
a reason
into
for
that
too, I know.
addiction through giving into that sickness through simulation is not fixing or treating or healing anything. It's making the problem infinitely worse. So there is some sort of responsibility by the technology developer to prevent that type of thing being ran on the headset. Now, granted, right now there isn't any mechanism. So you can go into Unity and you can make models that, you know, look and behave, and you can interact with them if you're skilled and talented enough. And it's horrifying that, you know, that type of thing can be done with just a little bit of effort. And that makes, now granted, there is part of that theory that is correct, which is if they're doing it in the simulations, then that will fully prevent them doing it in real life. But then too much simulation, then they go, well, now I want to do this in real life. The consequences are, which is what we see with all of the predator catching channels in the first place, is they consume too much of it, so therefore it drives them to try to meet up with a real child.
Yeah, I wish there were more studies on it. It's really unfortunate because
they have mental illness and
Yeah.
it needs to be treated, not coddled.
well, I agree with you there. It's just the problem is that nobody wants to admit to it, and it's also not always possible.
Well, who's going to admit to it?
What?
But here's the thing. Right now, there is no law protecting child predators from telling their therapist, hey, I've got a problem. The therapist can report them to police, and then they go to jail.
Yeah,
Instead of getting the help
in some
that they need.
places it's okay as long as they haven't done anything, but if they admit to it happening in the past, I believe that it has to
Yep.
be
They can go back.
reported.
Yeah. And so that's where the problem is you're being punished for trying to be truthful for something that is, you know,
yeah. It's,
something vile.
I'm very involved. I don't actually have a personal what's the word? I don't have a personal attachment to it. I don't know what the word would be, but
That comes down to that also comes down to the body cam footage that I watch because, you know, the police are the ones that have to come and deal with this situation. That's not something that can always be done by, you know, just pure community leadership right now or anytime soon, unfortunately. You know, when police have the ability to come in and put these guys in cuffs and take them away, and, you know, it would be preferable if they could take him directly to a therapist instead of straight to prison. But,
What's
you know, you see
interesting-
where I'm going with this, though?
Yeah. Like I said, I've done a lot of study on it. The reason that it's a mental illness versus and why being gay, trans, etc. is not is because Because that's something I thought about because I knew intuitively that that was true, but I couldn't really find it. But so the reason is that there's two big things about it, and a lot of the child attraction is actually usually about power relations than actual
Power
attraction
control.
to children. Yeah, it's more about the idea of having complete power over somebody mentally and physically and just their innocence and stuff like that. But the thing is, actual attraction to prepubescence, because here's the thing, like, people don't want to admit it, but there was a lot of child marriage. I mean, it still happens today, but in the past there was a thing. But
There's
the thing is-
41 states.
Yeah,
no,
that's
41
still
states
allowed.
right now where child marriage is still legal.
But it was also what I
On the
say.
books.
Yeah, but in the past, it's a popular thing, and there's a lot of people who get busted for this stuff who are in powerful positions. So it's like it's clearly a big issue. So, but here's the thing: is what makes it a mental issue is that you're not supposed to be attracted to prepubescence. Like, the reason
Yeah.
that being gay is not a mental illness, but being attracted to children is because even if you're attracted to the same sex, you're still attracted to post-puberty sexual characteristics.
You're
But-
still attracted to an adult.
Yes, an adult, but actually adult features and things like that, and the mental
Yeah.
equivalence of an adult. Now, some people, again, but what makes it an illness is that you're attracted to something that you can't actually, like, that wouldn't be able to procreate, and so it's like it's almost like a it's almost like what's the word, like zoophilia. It's like it's that you can't. It doesn't really make sense. It's not.
No, there's so
something-
much. There's the lack of consent entirely.
Yeah,
due
yeah,
to
and,
power
and what
control.
and there's but yeah, I'm talking about the mental illness part of it. But
Oh, yeah.
the social wise, yeah, like they're really like. But the thing is, if it's not a mental illness, you can't really stop people from doing that, unless it actually is something that can be fixed, and that's something that needs.
It's harming. It's harming other.
No, yeah, you
children
can
is what it's
stop
doing.
it, but you can't actually. There's no solution unless you can actually change that. And I'm pretty sure studies have shown that that thankfully it being a mental illness actually means that it is preventable and fixable through therapy,
Yeah.
but also through like things like medication and stuff. I think that is something that it can be solved. But there's a lot of work that needs to go into it, it's like we have to make it easy to get help, because otherwise, even, it's like, yeah, like,
If you want to remove the child predators, you give people free health care.
yeah, exactly.
And then they can go get therapy, and then they can get fixed so they're no longer a child predator. But
Yeah.
you know what doesn't help
And
child
sex
predators?
education. Sex education is really important too, for the kids.
Well, unfortunately, with right now the Republican Party, why
Well,
do you
yeah,
want
they
to
wanna
teach
rape
children
kids,
about
so
sex in
they- yeah.
schools?
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, we want to teach them about what consent is and how the human body functions. So when Uncle Larry comes around, your daughter doesn't get fucking raped.
Yeah, Your Daughter, Son by Larry or Larissa. It's really, yeah, no, it's not good. And it's surprisingly common with women too. It's just not talked about. It's almost like equal,
Yeah.
like 50-50. It's actually,
Well, it's like, oh, dude, you're 14, you got laid by your aunt. Dude,
Yeah.
high score.
yeah,
Goes every
it's
small town ever.
disgusting. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
At least that was the rumor over in Onaway, Michigan. So
Did that happen a lot?
there was a lot. There was a lot of.
Uh-oh, your mic cut out. What the fuck?
Oh shit.
Say it again?
So
I
that
can hear you
happens
now.
sometimes.
Oh.
There was a lot of incest over in Onaway, Michigan.
Oh,
And
no.
so as kids when we were playing sports, that's how we'd bully the other team.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny.
you actual motherfuckers.
Oh, man. Kids. All right.
Oh, dude, up north was wild. But anyway, I gotta
Yeah.
get going. I gotta feed my dog.
Yeah,
So,
it's been great.
it's
so
their
I'll
dinner
talk to you
time.
soon, and I'm also hope to do something in VR chat together. I think we could do a lot of, or do some
Dude.
TikTok lives.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the cool thing is like the other reason why I got into this is because I would be talking politics in VR chat here, and people would just come up to me and sit and listen, and then I'd be looking around, and suddenly there's a whole crowd of people. I'm like, do you guys want me to shut up? They're like, no, keep going. You make politics fun. Like I'm actually
Yeah.
learning. I'm like, make politics fun again.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because it's really important to everyday life. All right. It's been
It's our
great.
lives. We
Yeah.
should control them.
Literally, that's anarchism. Pleasure. Have a great one. Talk to you later.
Thank you. You too, man. Good night.
Bye. What a wonderful dude. Elion 113, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, etc. All here.